Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Oh, excuse me. I was just reading my Arlad's draft guide.
One of these guys like Howell or Mesidor or R. Mason Thomas.
The R. Mason Thomas thing is going to drive me crazy.
Sorry.
He's ours.
R. Mason
Oz.
Arlad's.
I don't like how they treat Barth.
It's more distinct.
You don't like how they treat Barth?
No, I really don't.
Why?
I think they bully him.
He's serious.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
you.
I hear that.
Yeah,
Stand
no,
up for yourself.
I
don't let
care
them
for
talk to you like that,
Stop
young
bullying
man.
my friend.
Paul, do you have one of those recliners where you press the button and it lifts you off the seat?
I do not.
You don't.
Does this help getting you out of the chair? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it lifts you right up.
All right,
So you're almost at a standing position and you just walk away.
I hand him my money. He takes my money, says it's finished, then tells me that it failed. And then the other thing that he said to me, which really was the kicker, which really put me over the edge,
He doesn't like Chris Brazzell?
was that I needed windshield wiper fluid.
Oh, for God's sake.
So he failed me on the wipers too.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
And this is a
Hard
Oh,
on.
and
this guy doesn't like Catch-22.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and Deuce is on vacation. What's he up to?
I don't know, but he said that he gets antsy, a week before the draft, so he just wanted to get out of here.
He brought his
He's
kid.
an odd duck.
He
and
brought
clear-
his son to UMass on a visit yesterday.
Yesterday.
And
Oh, yeah?
I think this
Little
weekend
college
he's
tour.
celebrating the Big 5-0 with his lovely wife Lane. I think they're going to Rhode Island.
Oh, nice. Wow.
I
Boy,
pay
his
attention when
kid's
people
that old
talk to
now
me.
where he's looking at
I knew
colleges?
about the UMass thing.
Yeah.
And I knew he was
He
going
texted
away
me
with-
yesterday when he was at
the
UMass
weekend.
because I've been hyping up the dining hall food for like weeks to him, and he got to experience it for himself.
Yeah, he doesn't talk to me about personal things. He talks to me just about what do you think about this guy? We don't do.
Well,
That
all
is-
is well,
that is
though.
true.
Deuce isn't here, but Alex is. How you doing,
Sure
Alex?
am. I'm well. How are you?
You have a good week so far?
I did.
Good.
Not as good as you with that tan.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
I didn't see you on Tuesday,
Out in
so
the sun. It's been
Yeah.
nice here, right?
it
Yeah.
has.
Beautiful
Yeah.
up until now.
Yeah. And Paul's here and Evan's here. Matt's in the booth getting ready for the draft. You can see I've got all my beasts printed out, neatly sorted with bulldog clips by position. And then
Now,
I've
why do
got
you call
my
those
Arlets.
bulldog clips?
That's what they're called, right?
This is nice paper. Did you print this out yourself?
Did you print it out on
Well, I
cardstock?
printed it out myself on the
No,
copy
it-
machine upstairs.
It's like nice, glossy.
Well, it's the WB Mason.
Yeah.
Bright white,
There we go.
8.5 by 11.
Can't put that on normal computer paper.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you had because they do have hard copies of the Beast, but he only sends them to select people.
Oh.
Yeah, select.
How do I
few.
get on that?
I don't know.
Fred,
I'm not
Fred
even.
Toucher has one because he's very upset that Felger and Maz have been throwing markers at him.
Well, Barth texted me a picture of Fred's copy. I thought Dane sent one to Alex, which would make sense because draft guy, right?
Right.
But he sent it to Fred, and I was like,
Well,
why
not
would you
this
send it to Fred?
So
And
Dane,
he was on actually this
if
morning.
you really want to send it to
Yeah.
someone who's going to actually use it the way you intended it to be used and who will promote it, send it to me here at One Patriot Place in
I thought
Foxborough.
he was going to say send it to Evan Lazar.
No,
who would
I-
actually use
Evan
it the way
doesn't
it's
need it.
intended
He
to
gets he does his
He does it in his own
scouting
zone.
Steel trap.
directly. He doesn't need the go
be.
between.
He has his little notes on his phone.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's in my spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your spreadsheets on your phone.
Well, yeah, I can.
How do
access
you
it.
see a spreadsheet on a phone?
Well, I can access it on my phone.
I know, but the screen's too small.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just scroll around.
I know, but you lose track of where you were and all that
I agree.
stuff.
That's a
You need-
job for
you
a
need
desktop.
a big screen for a spreadsheet.
Well, I mean, normally I'm working on my computer, so I do have a big screen. But when we're on the show, if I have to quickly jog the memory of something specific, then you go to the.
and this is a spreadsheet that you created?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna post it. Probably, I'm hoping Monday. But it's very informal. It's just little notes that I jot down while I'm watching guys and
you should sell it
researching and stuff.
like they do.
You know what? So somebody actually approached me the other day and said, "Have you ever thought about doing a Patriots specific draft guide, not a guide like the Beast that's, the whole league, but just like kind of through a Patriots lens. I guess some people already do those for different teams, and I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Didn't you already just do it with your big board?
Kind of. So we could just like
You're
repackage
feeding
it
two
into
birds
a more
with one scone
like an nice like Our Lads does.
Yeah.
on glossy paper.
On glossy paper. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's a whole cottage industry, this draft. People making money.
Crazy.
You are right.
It's a pretty big industry.
Yeah.
You are right.
Mel Kiper, thank you.
Why don't you do a guide to the offseason that would also include free agents?
We could do that. I thought, there's maybe positional needs could be part of it too, and
Yeah.
then obviously my thoughts on the prospects and my rankings and stuff, because I already put it in a spreadsheet form, so it's really just making it look nicer than that.
Yep.
That's all.
Now,
Your boys do a good job of that. Our lads.
Yeah.
They take the depth charts, the needs, the free agent additions and whatnot.
Yeah.
now
They
to,
do a good job of
to
that.
be really credible,
Yeah.
do you feel like you would need to actually go to games and/or I know you go to the All-Star games already.
When we're allowed to.
yeah.
Yeah, or when the schedule permits, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Dane goes, he even goes to practices. They like some of these schools will let him in during the week to practice, and he goes and talks to the coaches and stuff like that about the different players and talks to the players directly a little bit. So in order to do it on that level,
Yeah, it has to be your job.
it has to be your full-time job.
Right.
Yeah, it's his full-time job. It's Jordan Reed and Mel
Oh, it's a-
Kiper's
it's a big-
full-time job.
It's a big swing, but people have taken risks before and it's paid off, and who knows?
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not pushing you to quit or anything, but
Well,
I've been telling them for
I'm
2
just
years.
saying.
Well-
chase
Paul and
your
I-
dream. Chase
We
your
talked
dream.
about you yesterday, Alex and I.
Yeah, we did. Paul and I got a tour of the new training facility, New Balance Athletics Center.
Yep.
Whatever the
New
name
Balance
of it is.
Athletics Center.
There we go. Thank you. And we took a walk through the scouting department, and Paul was like, "This is where Evan should be."
this was
The area outside all the regular
But
offices.
is
Yeah,
that
you
true?
wouldn't get
This
your
was
own
really-
office.
this was
You
really-
Is that
get
really
like a
what you want to
desk.
do? Is scout?
I do really enjoy that. I hate calling it scouting. 'Cause I'm not a scout. Like I'm not a professional scout.
Well,
so
that's what you would
Well,
be.
you would
I
be.
know, but I don't like calling it that right now because I feel like it. Whatever.
But
I
that's how you start.
I do really enjoy that aspect of it the most, probably, especially the college side. Like the pro side's fine, but the college side, I think I do really enjoy that. I mean, I think that the guy that I was taught, I think I could do that as a part of this job. Like I could do both of those things. I don't need to go
Right.
be Dane Brugler and be.
But what's your dream job in football?
Yeah, probably scouting.
Really?
On the college side, probably.
So you don't mind all the traveling and being in?
That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, also like opportunity, but like that would be the biggest reason, other than getting my foot in the door, that I don't do it, is because, travel. We already travel a little bit, and it's a lot. I'd crank that up times 10 if you're a
Yeah,
scout.
those guys are on the road like
5-6 days a week.
200 plus days a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be tough, but I feel like that's, sitting and watching the film of the draft guys. Like, I love the days where I can just sit there and watch like 10 guys in one day. That's like the best part of this time of year. So that is a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like that better than analytics?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm not like with analytics. I'm good at researching numbers, but I'm not good at calculating numbers. So I feel like the guys that work in the analytics departments for the teams are actually coming up with equations and like actually figuring out ways to compute numbers.
Different ways of saying the same stuff. It's basically what it is.
For me, I just am not like, I'm not a coder. I'm not a math guy. Like I just am resourceful.
Okay.
Which I think is true for a lot of people of our generation that grew up with computers and Google and stuff like that.
So what did you think of your tour, Alex?
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
The gym was really cool. We didn't get to see the locker room because there were a lot of players back, but we got
It's called
to
the weight room. I don't think they call it the gym.
the gym. I guess you're right. We saw the weight room, which is so awesome. Like the cardio's on the second level.
basketball to this kid, but
You have all the weight. There must have been like 18 squat racks in there, all overlooking
That's
the field. It
huge.
was so cool. Got to eat in the dining room.
you?
That was my favorite part.
That was
Wow.
Paul's favorite part.
Yeah, that's the only
free
reason
meal?
Paul came.
Yeah.
What'd you have? Did you have a smoothie?
I got a stir fry and I had a piece of salmon. It
Nice.
was really yummy and some watermelon juice.
And a piece of
Nice.
That's such a you meal.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of stuff ready at lunch, and they sort of explained to us that Ted Harper was. The idea was to basically create a stress test, for when the players come on Monday. The off-season program begins on
Yep.
the 20th. So there were a handful of players around. I saw Tommy DeVito and
So
Efton
there
Chisholm.
was a time that you could really
Yeah.
stress that place. Not anymore.
Right. Well, so what they wanted, they had like a nice buffet. I got it.
I got it.
There was a buffet on the side.
Skinny Paul.
And then there is I overlooked it. I let it go. And then there was a place where you could, individually order hot and cold. And they had a bunch of stuff. And they encouraged you to order something. Is what you get is
Yeah.
anything you want. But they had a nice salad bar.
There's a salad
Can you-
bar,
could
a
you
big
get a burger
buffet.
if you wanted a burger?
So I got
That
a
was
burger.
part of the
There you
scratch
go.
kitchen
I ordered
made
a
to
smash
order.
burger
Did they have
and
pizza?
made to order. I didn't see pizza.
No
They had
pizza?
wings.
Mm-hmm.
They had like in the buffet. They had some barbecue. They had some ribs and some like
Oh boy.
like smoked pork.
Yep.
Maybe smoked ham.
Salmon, mac
Yeah.
and cheese, veggies.
So they
Kind of
had
like some of the game day staples
Getting me
that you
hungry.
get
I
from the
can't eat
buffet,
the
other
but
side,
it was
they had,
better.
They had like frozen yogurt, ice cream kind
Mm-hmm.
of station. I didn't do that.
Low
maybe
fat.
maybe old Paul would have done that.
Oh sure.
No Diet Pepsi.
No diet.
Oh, I
Pepsi.
wonder why. I wonder
No Diet
why.
Pepsi. It's almost
I don't
like
think
they
there's
don't
any
think it's good
soda.
for you.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any soda
There's
in there.
Shocking.
no soda
But
anywhere.
the drink selection is awesome because it's like picture a gas station with those big refrigerators that take up like a whole wall. That's what it was with like coconut water, electrolytes. I got
Propel.
cold pressed juices. I got a watermelon juice. I wish I took like 3 of those 'cause it's so good. But yeah, they're living large over there. I'm incredibly jealous.
So then, Fred, you go up and you order your, like I ordered my burger, right? And you have to write your name on it, and then
Yep.
you just go sit down. That's like this is the whole process
They
that
serve you.
Ted sort of explained. We want you to you can stand there and wait if you want, but we'd like it if you just would go sit down. We want to see if they can find you.
Okay.
So like
That's incredible.
I ordered
service.
my burger, and a woman who I've never seen before came over. Here you go, Paul. Thank you so much. I was like, thank you very much. The whole table looked at me like, do you know her? I'm like, no idea.
He paid attention.
But she must just know me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Fred?
Yeah, sure.
Because she didn't really know everybody else at the table.
Maybe she watches Patriots Unfiltered.
But it was kind of funny. There were a couple of Revs employees with us, and they were like, did she know you? Like, how did that? That's so cool.
Well, that's great.
it was good.
Yeah,
Good time. Good
I've been over
afternoon.
there. I haven't eaten there, but I've seen the place and
Sneak
it's,
in, get some food.
It's like night and day. I can't wait for the players to get here and see
Yeah.
all that.
Do you know the biggest thing that stood out to me?
What?
Light.
Light,
Yeah,
a lot of
natural
windows,
lighting.
a lot of lights.
Yeah.
I mean, especially compared to
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the no windows.
look, they have what they are coming from was sort of for a pro team, pretty bare bones, bare minimum. So everything that's brand new is obviously going to be impressive. Alex is right. We were sitting there like overlooking all the squat racks, and Alex was like actually counting them. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing just how much bigger it is, but it's probably, in terms of everybody else, it's probably up to speed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but like when you just see like the difference, pardon the pun, the night and day difference of the lighting, it was unbelievable.
Like certain people's offices.
The offices are
Yeah.
overlooking the practice fields.
We walked by Ryan Cowden's office, and it's just a giant picture window, and all you see is the practice field. Just like the beautiful blue sky, the green grass, and I'm like, what a difference that must be for a working environment
Yeah.
than the like. Not to call it a dungeon that
But
we're
it
used
is.
to,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like not
Yeah,
enough
we can say
windows
that
in this
now.
place, you
Yeah,
know.
we have a-
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
The flow of everything. It's so intentional. Like one of the coolest things I thought was there's 2 VR rooms, which there's a foldable, like collapsible door between them that you can open, and it creates this field that is the width of an NFL field. So there's an offensive one and a defensive one, and then you can close it. And all the position meeting rooms, like it's like the D-backs in this room, corners, like whatever, they open up right to the
Yep.
VR room.
Yeah.
So you can sit in a meeting and be learning about these coaching points, and then you can literally go right outside the door and put it into practice in the VR room.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool
I've been
stuff.
trying to get in the VR room for 4 years. So maybe now's the time.
Now's your chance.
Yeah, I think it's especially for quarterbacks, it's becoming really really popular because you don't
Yeah.
get hit. So
Yeah.
you can go in the VR room, and Jaden Daniels specifically has talked about it, and he like turns it up so that the speed is even faster than what it is in an NFL game, so that when he goes and plays in an actual game, it's actually slower. The processing is actually slower than what the VR is able to do. So it kind of trains his eyes to move through things faster. Drake May said that he used it a little bit his rookie year when he was
I heard about it a lot when Mayo was here, but I didn't hear
Yeah.
about it as much last year.
Yeah, when he was sitting behind Jacoby Brissett, he said that he would run through the game plan for that week in the VR headset to try to simulate the game.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
stuck my head in Josh's office because I was going to say, hey, Evan says, hey, but he wasn't there.
Well, we'll
Alex looked at me like
I-
horrified. I go, that's the only one I would feel comfortable doing that too.
I appreciate the effort.
we'll see more and more of this facility as we get closer to training camp. They'll probably have an official ribbon cutting at some point. A lot of the artwork isn't up yet. It's not pretty yet.
And there were still guys working on
Yeah.
lighting fixtures, installing
Yeah.
stuff, working with like the duct work on ladders and stuff.
Soft opening, Frick.
Yeah, I mean everyone's been moved in. I believe Richie was telling me they've been in there for like 3 weeks now. But it's construction. You know, there's always stuff that's gonna have to get fixed and
Yep.
reworked. So
Yep. So we are exactly 1 week away from the draft.
We are.
Correct.
1 week in a few hours. So
Yes.
what are we thinking? Have we, do we have any things, any pound the table guys that you're looking at right now, or?
I think the one thing I keep hearing, and kind of goes back to what Elliot Wolf said on Monday, and he had his caveat that he wanted to make sure also got part of the quote, but I keep getting told don't this is not a very good draft, and it's not a very good draft on day 1, day 2, or day 3. So the prospects that you're getting in any round is a little bit lesser than in what a normal good draft, whatever you want to call it. So I keep hearing the terms like just get on base with your picks. Like just hit singles and doubles. Like don't be trying to hit home runs in a draft like this because it's just risky because there's not a lot of talent. So, I think that there is a chance, especially in the first round, that we see teams truly pick the best player available and not be really, pigeonholed to one specific position of need.
Do you think this is now going to become a trend because of the way guys are transferring? They spend the minimum amount of time. Well, now I guess they're going to spend more time in college because the money's there. But
Yeah.
I mean, do you think talent doesn't get developed fast enough in college so that the drafts are good? And
also, like,
could
do
it
guys-
just be a matter of perspective where maybe this draft is better than you think it is? These guys just haven't developed yet.
yeah, like do guys fall through the cracks because they're transferring and moving schools?
I think that the transferring probably is a factor, and you can look at it one of two ways. I think some people look at it and say these guys now know how to deal with money and they know how to handle that aspect of managing their lives with money because of NIL. They also look at it, you have to learn multiple playbooks. So the transition from college to the pros versus a guy that's been in the same program for 3 to 4 years, maybe they have a better understanding of how to absorb a playbook because they had to learn multiple playbooks. But they also changed coaching staffs and they changed systems and they changed position coaches and all that stuff. So maybe it does hurt in the development aspect of it. I did not hear a lot of this chatter about it being a down year the last couple of years. So I think this is a little bit unique to this specific draft, but it just keeps on here. You keep hearing things, like I said, of throw positional value out, throw, needs out, because if you draft, we are a team that only drafts premium positions. So we're not going to draft linebackers, running backs, and nose tackles early in the draft. You're going to end up reaching on the 7th best tackle or the 8th best wide receiver. And in a draft like this, that could get you into trouble because there isn't a lot of talent. So, Eric DaCosta, the general manager of the Ravens, who's obviously a very well-respected drafter, said the talent drops off about midway through the first round. So I think teams feel like there's like 14 to 15 true first rounders in this draft. So that doesn't mean that they're going to be bad players. Like they're still going to be good players. But the notion is just with your first round pick, especially, just draft a good football player. Like even if it's not necessarily at a glaring position of need, just draft a good football player. Because if you end up reaching in a draft like this, you might be really reaching, just to fill a need.
And I heard your boy Brugler this morning on Toucher and Hardy, and that to that end, one of the things he was asked was that high end guys, all pro caliber players, potential all pros in the draft, and he thinks that might be 2. So that's a low number. He said, so you're talking like top 5 at their position, maybe 2. He said if you expand that a little bit, maybe 7 or 8, 10 the position, you're probably adding another half dozen or so. But then he went to what Evan just explained. Like there'll be good players to find. You just might not have the high end and draft classes in general. And it's not fair, but it does happen. It gets defined by quarterbacks and the high end talent, the blue chips.
Yeah,
and
right.
And I think it's a little low. He thinks Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs are 2 guys that he thinks potentially could be all pros.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mendoza could be in that category as well. I'm not entirely sure why Mendoza's not being considered. To me, Mendoza's right in the same ballpark as
Had the wrong agent.
as Caleb and Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Like I think that he's that level of prospect. But other people think that he's maybe a little bit lesser than that level. I don't know why, but that's just a thing. I just think that it's just interesting to hear people saying it's not just the first round. It's all 3 days where
I've heard
it's
a lot
watered
of
down.
critical talk of day 3 in particular. Last year, I think people felt like there was some value to be had in day 3.
Yeah,
And
fourth
this
and
year,
fifth
they don't-
round.
They don't feel the
Well,
same.
that's great
Yeah.
because all we have is day 3 picks.
No, I
Well,
know,
I know because I
only 8 of them.
Yeah.
just like Elliot Wolf said, like when you say that, then people are going to listen to it and say, well, they're picking 31, so they're screwed, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying don't be totally surprised if they maybe go a little bit outside of the position of need. Like, Caden McDonald is a guy that keeps on getting brought up, the nose tackle from Ohio State. It's not the most pressing need, but obviously they lose Tonga in free agency. They don't really have another run-stuffing nose tackle like that on the roster. And there's a chance that he might be the best player available. The other name that was floated to me was C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, who I think is the consensus number 1 linebacker. We've talked about linebacker as a need a lot, but is that a round 1 need? Maybe not.
So in other words, this is not a draft to overthink things.
Yeah.
No, but I would actually say, and this might sound like, Homer Central, Patriots.com, I think it's a good year to be picking late because there aren't those guys like, geez, if we just had a top 10 pick, we could get X. We could get, Tyler Warren, Travis Hunter from last year.
if-
Those kinds
if
of
you're
guys.
gonna pick
31, you're going to
late-
get a good player anyway.
Yeah.
But there aren't a lot of great players.
Yeah.
But there's going to be good players. Every draft has good players.
It certainly levels off. Like,
Yeah.
I would say there's a really wide range, too, of from 20 to maybe even the end of day 2. There's not a whole lot of difference between a lot of these prospects when you start stacking by position. I think that a lot of these guys are pretty similar in terms of grades. So in that respect, I guess you're right. If you're picking in a draft like this, if you're picking 16th, that's kind of the worst place to be because you're not high enough to get the blue chip guys that are available, but you're kind of in the beginning of
The mid.
the level off. Yes, I didn't. Yeah, the mid.
Is
Yeah.
that what your kids say? Mid?
I'd have to ask you.
I don't
You
wanna-
have your finger on
I don't
the
want
pulse
to
of the
use
youth more
words
than
like
me.
that because I feel like I hear this a lot from people, and then there's always somebody at the end of the first round that ends up being an all-pro caliber player. Like it always happens every single year. There's guys that get drafted day 1, day 2 that are Pro Bowlers, and then you said, well, it's a bad draft. Well, that's a general consensus, not necessarily about every single player.
Doesn't have to be a bad draft for you. You pick 2 or 3 guys that end up being good players for you, and it was a good draft for you.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like it when GMs come out and say, "Oh, it's a bad draft." To me, it sounds like you're setting it up for yourself. Like, oh, if it doesn't work out, well, I told you it was a bad draft. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I think that
I like that, Fred.
I
Paul like negativity. I like it.
I think you could hit singles and doubles in a draft like this if you know what you're doing. You can get guys that are going to be good NFL players that can hold
was
down
last
positions.
year a good or like going into it? Were people saying?
I would say last year was probably, if we go with the last 3 drafts, last year was probably the middle. This one's probably the worst. Last year was the midpoint. Drake May's draft was the best. And so that's sort of how it's being looked at.
Because last year wasn't it like, oh, it's a good draft for, and it was a couple positions, but after that, it's not a great.
It was like
draft.
top heavy, wasn't it, last year?
No, there was more, I would say, premium talent in last year's draft at the top. Certainly, another draft that really was a 1 quarterback draft, though. Cam Ward was really the only quarterback,
Right.
And I think Mendoza is a better quarterback than Cam Ward, better prospect. But
I agree.
I think last year's draft was a little deeper in terms of like day 2 and day 3 picks than this one is.
And people thought that going in.
Yeah, I would say so. And
Yeah.
Drake May's draft going in was considered a really good one. Now, some of that's because there were like 4 or 5 quarterbacks that were worthy of first-round picks. But you also had, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt. You also had some other really good players in that draft that weren't quarterbacks.
You guys are right about the positions, though. Like there's a year, like this year they're talking about, edge guys are deep, tight ends are deep,
Right.
and other spots maybe, not quite as deep, but they changed. From one
right.
year it might have, like 2 years ago you had all those quarterbacks that hit,
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's interesting.
I think it just depends on the value of what you're looking for.
It is a good draft, I think, in terms of the Patriots' needs. Them specifically, edge rusher, tackle has some decent talent in the first round. Tight end. I think their wide receiver draft, people are starting to really warm up to the prospects in this wide receiver draft. Maybe not the superstar, Jamar Chase level prospect, but enough starter talent at that position. So those are positions: edge, tight end, offensive line, wide receiver that the Patriots are squarely in the market for. Elliot Wolf said on Monday that the linebacker class that looked great on paper when they actually finished up the grades, and that's why all this is coming out now, is because teams are actually getting final grades and stacking the board. He said on Monday that it didn't come out as good as he was hoping. So maybe not as much on the linebackers, but those positions I think are deep.
Anthony says, so is this draft worse than 2022? It may be a quarterback bias of 2022, but I recall that year being bad. Do you agree? Which would be worse between 22 and 26?
It's a good question.
Can you call up the draft? Like,
Yeah.
I
can't remember.
I'm an intelligent man, but I can't give
Was
you
that
verbatim.
Mac Jones's draft?
No, that was the
No.
year after Mac. That was
That's
Cole
Cole
Strange's
Strange
draft.
year.
Strange's.
So
Yeah, again, bad for the Patriots, but was it a bad draft? I don't remember.
I don't remember that one being obviously bad quarterback draft. That was Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, that draft class of quarterbacks. But I don't remember the whole draft being. The first round
Well,
might have been spotty.
I think, I was going to say the first round, now that I look, because I was hoping for that linebacker that was,
Devin Lloyd
Devin Lloyd.
Was that his draft?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had Trent McDuffie. They were on the clock and he was on the
So
board.
here's the first. The first round was Trayvon Walker,
Yeah, is Aiden Hutchinson, right?
Aiden Hutchinson,
Yeah.
Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner,
All good
Kayvon
players.
Thibodeau,
Yeah.
Ike Ekwonu, Evan Neal, Drake London, Charles Cross, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton. You got to get all the way to 15 to get a real bust. Kenyon Green.
yeah, those are good players.
Yeah,
Kyle
that-
Hamilton.
Yeah,
And then you get some. There's some busty picks in
That's
here.
why, I
Jahan Dotson, Zion Johnson, Traylon Burks.
yeah, no, that top half is pretty.
But then
pretty
even
darn
then,
good.
Trent McDuffie, Quay Walker, Tyler Smith, Tyler
Cole Strange.
Linderbaum.
Stud. That was a pretty good draft at the top. Even though I think Aiden Hutchinson ended up being the better player, Trayvon Walker is still a really good player.
Yeah, and then, like the bottom half of that first round, Tyler Smith, Tyler Linderbaum, Jermaine Johnson, Devin Lloyd, Devontae Wyatt, and then Cole Strange. George Karlaftis has been a pretty good player for the Chiefs, so that wasn't a bad first round. Some real busty picks, though, including my every guy, Lewis Seen, who ripped up his leg and The preseason
that
was
was-
never the same.
Injuries. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. We got a stacked phone line, so why don't we open it up, see what people have to say.
There's some extra guys on that phone line today.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Yeah.
Phone lines have been.
Yeah. Zach's in New Hampshire. He's been now a frequent caller. What's up, Zach?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Evan, I was looking back at your big board again and saw you had Chris Bell at 18.
Yes.
I was just wondering, he was obviously a stud before the injury, and your comp was shades of A.J. Brown. So, what sticks with you the most about him being like Brown, and when do you think he could be back from the injury, and what do you think he could be in New England?
That's the tough part is the injury. Based off of early reports on his timeline, it sounds like he's probably not going to be ready until midway through next season, maybe. I mean, he tore his ACL in late November and had surgery in early December. So he's probably, I think we're talking about him potentially redshirting his entire rookie year, because by the point he's healthy to play, as a rookie, you're already 8-9 weeks into the season. Like, what is he really going to do? I in terms of the AJ Brown, comparison, I would say the two specialties that he has is winning the ball down the field at the catch point, and he's got real juice after the catch. Now, you worry about the catch and run stuff underneath, like with a knee injury, is he going to get all that explosiveness back? That's going to be big, but he's one of those guys like early career AJ Brown that like you can hit him on a crossing route or a slant coming over the middle of the field, and he's gone. He just destroys pursuit angles. But you're going to have the concern about him maybe missing his rookie year, but also the concern about is he going to get back to the pre-ACL injury health and play speed, because that's a lot of his game is being able to pick up yards after the catch.
Thanks for the call, Zach. Let's go to Herm in D.C. What's up, Herm?
Hey, how you doing, party people?
Hey, who?
Party people.
Party people.
Party
Quick
people.
question.
Never heard that.
Yeah, party people.
Alex,
quick
he's not
question
young and hip
comment.
like me. Sorry, Herm.
Right. All good. So I think I watched one of your breakdowns yesterday, Evan. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, about I think receivers. And I'm not gonna. I think you sold me on Brazel a little bit to the point where I'm like, listen, I wasn't in the AJ Brown camp to begin with, but I'm team, draft and develop. But I didn't realize he basically killed Georgia a few years back, which is obviously something we can utilize moving forward. And the comment I have for you is, what's the case against drafting Zion Young? That's really my guy. You know what I mean? At 31. And I'll take up there and listen.
Okay, thanks, Herm.
Yeah, thanks for watching the breakdown. Yeah, I think Brazel against Georgia might be the best wide receiver tape of any player in the draft. I mean, he just absolutely torched Georgia's defense. So it had like a couple touchdowns. I want to say almost 200 yards receiving in that game. I mean, just in like the whole repertoire of what he's able to do. I put a lot of stock, probably too much, but a lot of stock in games against that type of competition.
I agree. I do too.
Like, it's one thing to go watch a guy play. It's one of the hardest parts about the draft with the small school guys. Like, watching, Skylar Bell, for example, from UConn, go his best, FBS competition was maybe like Syracuse or Boston College, which, like, no offense, but that's not Georgia, in the SEC. So
Gotta be careful about BC. They won't let you back from pro day.
so seeing Brazel do that against Georgia's DBs, that's a different type of level to me. Zion Young, I think the biggest thing with him, he's probably a better run defender than he is a pass rusher. Do you see the fluidity? Do you see the bend? Do you see the burst off the edge to be able to be a high level pass rusher at the next level? I don't know how much it's factored into teams' evaluations of him. The off-field stuff is a flag that you're going to have to be comfortable with. He's got a little bit of a history there off the field, but on the field, the most important thing I would say is like he a true, bend the edge type of guy. Like, can he really get after the quarterback and be a high pressure, high sack guy or is he more one of these like long, sturdy run defenders? Which there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't know if that, they say speed off the edge. And Zion,
That's why I like Cassius Howell. I think he's more of a pure pass rusher who probably
absolutely
doesn't do those things that Young does as well right now.
Well,
So
certainly
it's
not.
one of your things. You got to pick your flavor of ice cream.
Yeah, I just when Elliot Wolf gets up there and says that they want to get speed off the edge to complement their room, Zion Young
I
is
crossed
not,
him off the list.
Yeah, is not the one I think about. So if that's if they're really sticking to that, then I don't think it will be him.
Christian's in L.A. What's up, Christian?
Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys.
Hey,
Wow. This is a big deal. I don't know why you guys haven't talked about it, because we made so much progress last year, and we finally took this leap, and we're back as a team, only to have the person who's at the helm make one of the stupidest decisions that I've seen made in several years, to go out after winning Coach of the Year, that much high caliber publicity, and to have an affair and get busted and then be in the news with it. Now, I'm wondering what we're going to do as a team when our coach is going to have to be forced probably to leave, and what Mr. Kraft is going to do, because we have a moral clause with this team. We've exercised it on players. What are we going to do about exercising it on our coach? I know you guys don't want to talk about it. It's ugly. It's not football, really. But I'm really worried. I'm really upset about this. And I'm so disappointed in Mike for the decision that he's made. It might set us back. You guys help me talk about this.
Yeah. Well,
I'll talk about it. It's none of the things that you're concerned about are going to happen. Like a morals clause for having an affair is going to cost you your job.
I mean, half the league would lose their job.
More than half.
Yeah.
90%.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, first of all, you don't know if it's true, but if it is, like, two consenting adults, it's more on her side because of the ethical part of it, being a journalist, but God, like, I would imagine, like they say, over 50% of marriages end in divorce. I would say more than that number, one of the other spouses had an affair. I mean, it's just, so, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. And everything he said about, being in a bad situation and all that stuff, bad judgment is true. But I'm just talking about for football moving forward. It was terrible judgment on both parts.
If true.
See, I don't even think I need to know about what happened. It was terrible judgment to be where they were.
Yeah.
And in the situation they were in. It's not an appropriate relationship for a reporter and a coach, in my opinion. But you're not going to lose your job because you had an affair.
Right. It's your personal business.
Diana Rossini didn't resign necessarily because she had an affair.
Right.
It's because of the journalistic part of it.
Right.
That ostensibly is not allowing her to do her job properly. It's not fair. It's a double standard. There is, it's tougher for women in that regard, because I think they fight more of an uphill battle.
Also, men
trying to get legitimacy.
There aren't enough men covering women's sports where you could have the apples to apples comparison.
I even think now, like nowadays, there's, and I think we have some female members of, here with the Patriots in personnel and, sort of not necessarily position coaches in scouting, but are they in the scouting pipeline?
Yep.
I mean, the coaching pipeline. Like, so is it out of the realm of possibility that a female wide receivers coach for some team, and I mean, this could happen
someday,
and the man, if the reporter is going to lose his job, because he should, yes. So it's an unfortunate situation. I don't like to see people lose jobs, but I don't think this is. I mean, it's something that Mike Vrabel is probably going to have to address with his team.
Yeah,
just to sort of set the record straight among his players. He preaches a lot of family values and that kind of stuff. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but I don't think it's going to have long-reaching implications. Alex, I know, as the only female here, I mean, if you have some thoughts on this, you can tell me how much of a chauvinistic pig I just was.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it sucks because it kind of puts women like me in a position now, like, it looks bad for all women reporters, because just the preconceived thoughts people have.
But we shouldn't even, like, say women. It's bad for a reporter to do that with the subject matter that you're covering, and I know it's just sports, but you're still a journalist.
Mhm.
You're still supposed to be, you know,
You should have never put yourself
Yeah.
in that situation where
You're
it
not
would
supposed
even
to
be
be biased.
speculated on. So, it's unfortunate. I think I've seen a lot of people compare it to like the Ime Udoka situation, which is I think totally different because
Way
she was a Celtics employee. He was a superior to her.
Right.
So that's
That's a
obviously why
workplace
that's a
thing.
workplace
Yeah.
HR issue. This
Right.
is it's totally different. Like you said, two consenting adults. It's unfortunate, but
yeah.
it's unfortunately rampant in this industry.
It's
so.
it's rampant in the world.
It really is, and I hate
mean,
that it's almost been like
We couldn't even scan the cameras at a concert without catching two people on camera.
and it's really
You know?
unfortunate that we've just been like desensitized to it as a society. But
Yeah.
I think it's.
what are you gonna? You can't fire him.
As a reporter, I think it's a difficult line to walk because there's clearly a mutual beneficial relationship between a reporter and a subject where the reporter wants information, the subject wants to curry favor, and it's a difficult line to figure out how to walk of there is an element of this job that is information gathering, and in order to get that information, there are certain things that go on, and I feel like that's a difficult place that I have found myself in at times in terms of how friendly is too friendly in terms outside of a workplace type of thing. So I think that that's a hard thing to do as a reporter. If you want to be an insider, like, you have to have a relationship with these people. They're not going to just give you information for no reason, right? And so how
They have to like you.
right. And so how do you go about doing that professionally, I think can be hard, especially if, you're new to the business or, something like that where you're trying to break into it. It can be difficult. Like, even to this day, I don't know exactly, am I stepping, am I not? Should I be here? Should I not be here? Like, that type of thing can be hard to navigate.
So, like, I think Vrabel will have to address it with the team, and I think that should be the end of it. Unless it's stuff we don't know. But
Right.
yeah,
Based on what we know.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go to Todd in North Carolina. What's up, Todd? Oh, wow, that's a weird beep. How about Melvin in Tennessee? What's up, Melvin? Sweet kid.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Good.
Good. So a lot has happened since last time I called in, but the biggest thing, I guess, going into this draft, I could try to figure out is, I guess this year it was harder for them to kind of get still looking for like a binky receiver. I guess somebody that could get them out of, help them out in situations where they got to get the ball out fast. So I thought that was going to be Pop, somebody that they could kind of rely on in that situation from being there through those years that they stuck. Then they kind of go back to, he can kind of get in a proper role, maybe being the third, fourth receiver, and he could help out in that range. Maybe it's going to be, since that didn't really work out, Travion Henderson, year 2, could probably set up some matchup issues. And now that the line actually knows who they can block, they can probably help and develop with that, because I think they probably drafted him to especially be effective with pass receiving and pass blocking. So I don't know exactly what that answer is going to be. Maybe Chisholm. Maybe they're trying to find somebody in the draft, but just hopefully if they can find something as far as, because that was obviously a lot of their issues in the playoffs, but a binky receiver, somebody that can kind of take the load off in those situations, and then Drake noticing that he's going to have the ball out fast and getting it to that receiver, because sometimes I don't think he likes playing like that. So it's going to be a thing going forward. I hope they can develop that. Josh can get him ready for that in year 2. And then next year when they have that situation again, they'll be a lot better situated for that. So that's what I'm looking heading to this draft, and that's all I got. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Thanks, Melvin.
I think they're hopeful that Romeo Dobbs is going to be that guy. That he's going to be third and gotta have it, chain moving type of receiver in the offense. I don't know if that's necessarily, if they trade for A.J. Brown, if they draft a receiver high. I think that they're hoping is going to be the big play guy, more explosive play type of receiver versus, 3rd and 6, with the game on the line, where are you going? I think they are kind of hoping that Dobbs is that kind of player. That was supposed to be Diggs last year, and it was for the majority of the season.
So and I think that's a good distinction you make, like, because I think Melvin's talking about, the quick get it out guy and then the binky guy. I don't think those are the same thing. I think they didn't really have a quick get it out quick guy last year, but they had a binky in Diggs. And I agree with Melvin. I don't think Drake loves the idea of the quick get it out, because I think he likes to peruse to see, do I have a chance for something? Now, got to have it kind of, 3rd and short, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, we're going for it. Yeah, the quick get it out guy that's all your goal is, just to get the first down. But I don't think he likes to just get it out quick. I think we did think it was going to be Douglas. I think it's as much to do with Drake as it is with Douglas that it didn't work out that way.
Could be.
Because I don't think he loves to play that way. I don't think he wants to have 100 completions.
He's going to need to learn, though, that you got to take that sometimes. You got to do it.
Yeah.
It will help you do the big thing down the road if you do that.
Well, it's hard to argue with his down the road performance last year.
Yeah, I think, like, the issues that they had, especially if you just want to point to the Super Bowl because they won the other games. You want to point to me, the issues in the Super Bowl were protection based.
Right.
They weren't either not blocking the right people, or they weren't blocking the people they were supposed to block, and executing correctly. Yep. I didn't look at the Super Bowl as he needs a binky. Like, I don't think
but don't you think that having a quick outlet can sometimes mitigate a team that's bringing the heat?
In theory, sure. Yeah. I just didn't. I thought that game Seattle took their protections down, and I don't think that they had as many answers available to them that they would hopefully have moving forward.
It's probably everything. It's like, were there a couple of opportunities that the receivers were available, Drake didn't get it to him quick enough? Probably. Were there a couple of examples that Drake didn't see the guys that made themselves available quickly? Probably. And then there were a million examples of what Evan's talking about, where it just broke down so fast. But all it takes is, a couple of plays, and maybe you can affect the way the other team's calling the game.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you can beat them a couple of times, and we saw Brady do that a million times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were definitely times where he had opportunities, but for whatever reason, a lot of the game plan against Seattle was to try to throw deep against the pressure, and just because they were going to have the one-on-one matchups down the field if they were bringing all this heat, and they just didn't have enough time. And I think what we've heard, Deuce and I have talked about this, is just they think that he's going to take a next step in year 2 in this system of being able to set protections and see things and get things adjusted, so that hopefully next time around against Seattle, a team like Seattle, they have more answers to the test pre-snap, and have more solutions to those types of problems. Maybe some of that is, I'm talking more schematic. Maybe some of that is having a receiver that gets open quick underneath, but I think it's probably more on the schematic side.
So Todd's phone call got cut off for some reason, but he said, we said, sorry for the drop call. Mrs. is going through a job search and needed the phone. Oh yeah.
We only have one phone.
Yeah, that's kind of weird these days, right?
A landline?
Calling a landline.
Yeah. Like, I have a landline in my house. I have not used it since over 6 years.
It's funny that you said that. I still have, I'm a dinosaur too. I still have a landline.
Oh, you have a rotary phone.
So
I haven't had a landline since
I actually picked it up the other day.
Paul's like, yes, can you connect me with TL4?
Bensonhurst.
Yeah.
I had 101 voicemails on the phone.
On the landline.
On the landline. I spent like 20 minutes and I just cleared them all out. Right. And almost all of them are like the robocalls, like, in town.
I don't even
that.
know the number of my landline. I honestly don't know what number it is.
I have so many friends' landlines memorized in my head.
Oh, from
like
growing up?
Yeah, when you had to do it that way.
Oh yeah,
I remember
Call
that
your friend,
was
hey,
big.
can Morgan play today?
John Capitalupo, 2615.
You know what? I think landlines.
Wade Bogg, Cecil Cooper.
Landlines are coming back for people who have like middle school age children and don't want to get their kids a phone, but they're like, hey, I still want you to be able to talk to your friends, so they're bringing back the old-fashioned landline.
Look at that.
I remember it was a big deal. And my sister my dad added like a second line
Oh,
to
her
the
own number?
yeah, like with her. Yeah, it was
I wish.
that was like it
I
was like a
wanted that
present.
so
Like it was
bad.
like a big deal because she would always hog up the freaking
Well,
main
that
phone
happened
line.
to
So
my cousin Jen, really popular girl, a lot of friends. My cousin was so annoyed with her friends calling all the time that he changed the phone number on her and didn't tell his daughter the phone number. So she couldn't give it out to her friends.
That's good stuff.
So anyway, Todd says previously we passed to set up the run. With Drake's long ball pro style, will we be running to set up the pass, or will we be in a situational offense with calls evolving throughout the game? Whichever way the approach is, are there offensive players better suited to the Patriots available with the first pick? So he's saying that previously we passed to set up the run. Will we now be running to set up the pass? And are there players suited for that?
I would have to see them run the ball with any degree of consistency for the first time, in my view, for a long, long time, before I ever would think that they're a run to set up the pass team. Maybe they will be. I know, like, the personnel moves sort of, you know, a big, powerful guard, a fullback, a blocking tight end. Like, certainly the personnel moves, I understand why Todd's asking the question. I look at them, Drake May is your best asset. Throw the ball.
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I would imagine that those things ebb and flow depending on how defenses are playing you, game plans, matchups.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if
I would hope they're flexible.
I don't know if teams like go into a season saying like we're gonna pass to run. Like I don't know if that's necessarily how. But with Drake May's year last year, especially if they get AJ Brown or an impressive rookie receiver or something in here, and I would assume that teams are going to be more concerned about them throwing the ball going into next season, and then maybe that opens up the run game. Just from
Which
a game
to me
plan
is a
standpoint.
continuation of passing to set up the run.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. But more importantly, about Evan's car inspection, Travis says, I presume the car inspection guy was fearful that Evan was a narc because Evan gives off that vibe.
Oh.
Do I?
Also, I find it odd that anyone would lease a car. It's such an Evan move.
Oh.
A lot of people lease cars.
I was going to say, I can't. You now
I can't.
because
Yeah.
our commutes are too long. Alex, forget about it. You wouldn't even be able to spell lease.
I would
But
never,
if you,
anyways.
if you like
But
have
lot
a
of
short
people
commute,
lease. Yeah, a lot of
it makes
people
a
do
lot of
that.
sense.
You almost always have a new car.
Yeah.
Depends what you value.
Depends on
Care to
what you value.
elaborate?
Yeah.
I don't
what
know.
are we valuing?
I love having a paid off car that's just
Me too.
reliable. I'm not putting money into nothing just to trade it back in and then keep doing it again.
Yeah.
I love not having a car payment. It's the greatest thing in the world.
I agree.
That is good.
But that's me.
Yeah, I think, I've always, not always, and my very first car had 200,000 miles on it. It was a purchased car when I was 16 and a half. But, along with, you don't typically have as many mechanical issues with a newer car.
Yeah.
So you're also not always on the hook for fixing all of them if it's under a lease and there's warranties and things like that you might be covered. Like wearables, like my tires, I had to pay for. But if there's like a mechanical engine problem or something like that, then that might be covered under a warranty.
Do any of you have those things that they advertise them everywhere, like Shield, the car insurance stuff, after warranty car insurance that you get for repairs?
I don't.
Like you see it everywhere, all these ads.
Yeah. My father's not a big believer in those.
Yeah,
so
they
I
seem
don't.
kind of scammy.
Yeah, I don't
probably.
have that. But a lot of when you lease the car, a lot of places have bumper to bumper warranties.
Yeah.
Obviously if brakes, tires.
But this is
those
for
things
like
don't
if
count,
you've
but
had the car
Yeah.
for 6 years, you've paid it off,
Right.
it's out
Right.
of warranty.
Sure.
You can buy these plans that will pay for major repairs, and
yeah.
you have to pay every month into it.
Yes, insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other nowadays like the lease deals are terrible. Like really since COVID.
That's the thing.
I would say
Well, what I don't understand about leasing is, they give you the price on TV. It's like $280 a month, but then in the fine print, $6,000 up front. Like if
Yes.
I'm leasing a car, why am I giving you $6,000
Like
up front?
6,000, you might as well buy the car.
Right.
Well, you could buy the car in the end, right? So like,
can, yeah.
if you put the $6,000 down and then you pay the lease payment, then at the end you get, the car is now worth $16,000 or whatever the heck
Right.
it's
Yeah.
worth. So there's I don't know if I'll do this, but at the end of my lease, like you could then take that to a bank and you could get a loan to own the car. So
Right.
now you would have a loan payment to own the car,
Yeah.
but it would probably be a lot less than what a new lease payment would be.
Oh,
Right.
sure.
So you could do that sort of thing, and then eventually, when you pay off the loan, then now you own the car.
It's a depreciating asset. So like,
As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's a depreciated
so I can see if
asset.
you're the type of person that you value having a nice new car, great, like go for it. But if you want to drive it till the wheels fall off,
I
then
think
just drive
as
it till the wheels fall off. If you're gonna buy a new car just to get rid of it in a few years, like that makes no sense to me.
yeah, as a son of a car guy, I think that my dad's argument has always been in terms of leasing is the expense that it is to fix up a car that you own, and those expenses just add up over the course of time. And then if something major happens to the car, then you're really
But how much
That's
money,
not a
like
lot.
how often and how much money are you
Well-
having to put into your car?
Well,
Like,
nowadays, I mean,
I've put no money
back
into
in my
mine.
day when I was like, that was more of an issue because cars would break down, oil leaks and gaskets and all that stuff. But nowadays, these cars are made pretty well.
Right.
They don't really break down that much.
Like if I need to put
unless you get a
$1,000
lemon.
if I need to put $1,000 into my car to get something repaired and it's paid off, that's still less money to me than saying,
If you
"Screw
amortize it
I'm
over a
gonna
year,
buy
it's
a
like
new
less than $100 a
Right.
month. Right.
I get it. I've had this argument with people my entire life, my entire adult life.
Well, you
Like-
drive a
like,
you drive a Volkswagen. Those are
I do.
expensive to fix. So like a
Yes.
lease.
And so if you
want a
have-
Volkswagen, that
right.
makes sense.
If you have a car, foreign cars, especially, but a lot of these things I think come down to like, obviously he works with people whose job it is to fix the cars, and he knows that side of it pretty well and how expensive that side of it can get from a parts standpoint, a labor standpoint, that sort of thing. So those are things that you take into account. Also, it's nice to have a new car every 4 years. 3-4 years is
Sure.
just nice to have.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Nothing
but-
like that new car smell.
Yeah.
I saw Alex catching some strays, after Evan's story about.
yeah.
They said that
did-
you would have been.
Yeah, I didn't out the
Spilling
small.
all the
This is
tea.
a small business in Everett. I didn't want to out them. It was probably just a.
Well, you guys remember my
Bad ex-
story last spring when it was
Yes.
a major company. I didn't air them out.
People
Part
were
of that
saying
was
that Alex
sponsored-
would have had the guy's name out there, and I was like, that's the opposite of what she actually did.
And like I have grievances with people and places and things like almost every day of my life, and I've never been the type of person to be like tweeting at an airline because I got screwed over or something.
Oh, I love those.
Like I
love the NFL writers that have to tell us about their
Yep.
trials and tribulations in
I know.
the airport.
Yeah. Jonathan in South Carolina, I'm tired of this A.J. Brown draft stuff. So I think it's been almost a month in time for a Fred pillow review with his new
Yeah.
pillow. I hope you've been enjoying it and got your money's worth. I really do enjoy the pillow, but it's hard to describe. It's soft yet firm. It's almost like there's air in it, but there's not. And
Heyo.
it's a good pillow. It's hard to describe it in words. You have to just experience for yourself.
so no buyer's remorse.
No.
Very
no.
satisfied.
Yeah. Have you had it for about 3 weeks, I would
Okay.
say. Yeah, so it's a different type of pillow than I've ever had. It's not, memory foam.
Mhm.
It's not
Not
a
feather.
down pillow or just latex. I don't even know what's in it. It's weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
He's had
Does
it
it
for
stay
3
cool?
weeks. One of those weeks he was on vacation.
Right.
so-
Well, no, I factored
you bring
it in.
it-
I think I've had it
bring
for
it
a
with you?
month, and I took out a week for vacation. Yeah, but it does the trick. Very comfortable. Gets in there in the nook so that you're not craning your neck.
The hoof.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kirsch
He'll
Consumer
be crying
Report stamp
himself
of
to sleep
approval.
tonight
Yeah.
on his huge pillow.
So
Giant pillow.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Like over time, maybe I still might be in the market for the pillow cube.
We'll do like
we'll
a
see.
6-month check-in.
Yeah.
See how it holds up.
Yeah. All right. But other people do want to talk about the draft, and we will do that right after we take this break.
Come welcome our newest restaurant additions at Patriot Place. Estella brings a celebration of flavors with a modern fusion menu, exciting cocktails, and brunch available daily beginning at 11 a.m. Enjoy freshly brewed coffee and Mediterranean-inspired breakfast and lunch from Angel's Cafe. Craving the classics? Chick-fil-A makes it easy to grab your favorite with mobile through, carry-out, and dine-in options. Download the Patriot Place Advantage app for special offers and to earn rewards every time you visit. Patriot Place. Shop, dine, enjoy.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
The New England Patriots select. Welcome, everybody, to Patriots Draft Countdown, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots. And, guys, we're just a little over 1 week out, finally. I know it seems a little shorter this year because we were at the Super Bowl. So, Ev, did you get through it all right? I mean, this process of the draft, you feel like you've gotten a handle on this class?
I think I'm there now. You know, I had a little panic set in when I started working on the draft because of how late of a start we got. But that caused me to like really cram even more, I feel like, into a short period of time. So we're in a good spot now. I think we got a feel for the thing, Mike.
I know. I'm glad we got Paul here. Paul's someone who's used to picking near the bottom of the first round. The rest of us, we're like, hey, where's our top 5 pick? But Paul, this is familiar territory for you.
I mean, I'm just glad they didn't decide to push the draft back because Evan wasn't quite prepared yet.
I'm getting there. I still have maybe 8 guys that I really need to get to over the next week, but we're almost.
Yeah, it is challenging a little bit, and I can only imagine, in real life. In other words, the actual personnel department.
Oh, the people that matter, you mean?
And it's the coaches because the scouts obviously are doing all their work all year round, regardless of the caliber of the team. It's the coaches and whatnot that are getting caught up to all the information. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a different dynamic. Belichick used to sort of, quote unquote, complain about it, and Vrabel has been the same way. They're playing catch up.
Yeah.
But at this point, you're caught up.
I think you rely a lot on your. Elliot Wolf was talking at his pre-draft press conference about the coaches list. So the board kind of goes through the scouts and goes through the personnel people that have been focused on the draft, and then they only really try to give the coaches a refined list of here's 8 to 10 guys at your position that we want you to watch instead of here's 50 at your position that you want you to watch. So you rely a lot on those scouts to get the list down to a comfortable limit. And then he mentioned that Mike Vrabel has taken all of the lists for the position coaches, and he's watched every single position. Whereas maybe if you're Ashton Grant, you're only watching day 3 quarterbacks.
There's 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. And so your job might be a little bit easier than Doug Marrone, who might have to watch 50 offensive linemen.
Yeah. What about you, Tease? Where have you landed here with this draft? How are you feeling?
It's not my favorite draft. I thought it was going to be edge, but the past couple of days, I think they're trading out of the first round. Yeah. I just think it's one of those drafts where you try to get depth, then I don't think we're going to get a pick at 31, personally.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy. When we've talked about it a little bit, Paul, if they just traded down a little bit, I mean, you lose that 5th-year option, but maybe you pick up, another day 2 pick.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Generally, I'm anti-trading down, but this draft, this class, I think Matisse is right. I don't think it's, stocked with a bunch of can't-miss starting caliber players. So if the right opportunity presents itself. Now, the big question is, I think, in regard to that, is Ty Simpson. Does he sort of entice someone to move into the bottom of the first round to go get him? And we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
There's always that mini run of wide receivers, usually late first round, early second round receivers too. That would be the only other spot. Now I know Patriots fans hear me say that and like they're going to trade out of a wide receiver pick like that. Let's not do that again. But Ty Simpson, or if they're not in love with like a Denzel Boston, or someone like that, and they end up having a team that's maybe picking at the top of the second round that really likes Denzel Boston, then you could see that sort of thing. You don't really see trade ups for like non-premium player positions like that, like a guard or something like that.
All right, it's time now for our final positional preview here of the 2026 draft season. We're talking tight ends and running backs. 2 positions I'd say have very different, probably levels of need for the Patriots. We should kick things off, though, Chris, with the running backs. And
something like that.
Why don't you set us up a little bit? We got, Ramondre, Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
And we got a fullback, too. What do you think of the
you
current roster?
got a couple fullbacks. You got Jack Westover. You got Reggie Gilliam.
Westover, Madison hero.
Yeah, Westover, Madison hero.
And Brock Lampy, right.
Brock Lampy, too, of course, could come back. I mean, I think the Patriots are stacked at fullback right now, but the running back room, I mean, you might want to add a little bit of depth. I mean, you got both guys. You don't know what direction you're going to go here with the draft. I mean, could be looking like more of a day 3 sort of area for the Patriots.
Maybe a flyer.
Yeah,
could
like be
that.
a flyer,
Yeah, 4
but
or 6 round picks.
Yeah. I know, right.
Yeah, right now.
Am I crazy,
Right
though? Because
now.
I do kind of have, like, a little bit of something I like with the running backs right now. And I just kind of like the 5'8", 220-pound guy, like the bowling balls. Like, I want some short yardage guys. Like, I think that's maybe a role that I could see at the running back position, maybe taking a guy like, all right, he's never going to be an every down bell cow kind of a guy. But if we need 1 yard, this compact little guy is going to be able to get it for us. I'm just talking specific types, though.
Okay, all right. Well, I have one name in mind for you with that description, but I have to say this first. This is the worst running back class I've ever seen, and I'm saying that in the nicest possible way. But I've been covering the draft since 2017. I have not seen a running back class this bad before. Besides Jeremiah Love, this is a rough group, and especially when you compare it to the group last year, which was absolutely stacked at this position. Like, we're talking about a group last year that had like Cam Scadaboo as like the 10th or 11th best running back in the entire class. Cam Scadaboo might be the 2nd best running back in this class. Love is an elite prospect. He's a blue chipper, maybe the best player in the draft. But after that, it gets rough. And his teammate from Notre Dame is not bad, and Mike Washington from Arkansas is okay. But then you start to kind of get into some dreads, some dark times with this running back class. You guys know how much I love the draft. I slogged through this group of running backs. I couldn't do it. It was that bad. That being said, there are a couple of guys. I think specifically you're looking for a third running back that maybe has a skill set to either do Deuce's thing, like short yardage, or catch some passes out of the backfield. And I think a big thing, too, for the Patriots is going to be kickoff return ability, because as that third running back, whether it was Terrell Jennings or Dearness Johnson or whoever, Antonio Gibson, that third running back was a primary kickoff returner for this team last year. So that spot's going to be involved in returning kicks. So, Damon Claiborne, Adam Randall, players like that can do that, I think are going to have some value to the Patriots. But if there's some guys that you guys like, I'm not saying don't like them. I'm just telling you that this is not a good group.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Jeremiah Love, too, just at the top. Because, I mean, he ran a 4.36 at the I mean, he's just an absolute beast. He's going to come in and change a team. I know I've seen, less so with the Kansas City thing lately in the mock drafts, but, some team's he's one of those backs that's worth a first-round pick. And then what? Are we going to the 3rd round before the next guy gets picked, maybe?
Yeah, I think, his teammate there at Notre Dame and Mike Washington, I think probably have a chance to go top 75, top 100. But, it's slim pickings, after Jeremiah Love. He's a great player. And, we've had some great running backs the last handful of years, Ashton Genty and Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs and players of that caliber. And I think that he's right in that category with like Saquon, Bijan, Genti, true blue chip elite prospects. The running back value. We did this with Genti last year. Where does that fall? Genti ended up going 6 to the Raiders. So, maybe that's where his ceiling is. I think the Titans have to think long and hard about it too, where they're picking those. So they're 4, right? If I'm not mistaken. So maybe Tennessee.
Evan lost
As
his
my voice is
there.
your voice is going.
We finally reached Evan's breaking point.
And now, great moments in history.
Interesting. I want to check out this caller on the Ace Ticket Hotline.
Sweet
Roger.
Kid? Oh, I thought you were going with Sweet Kid.
No, Roger's in Foxborough. What's up, Roger?
Are you guys done bitching? Holy moly.
It's Andy Hart.
We haven't heard from you since the preseason.
Mi amigo con grande cabeza.
We were just about to talk about fullback stances.
We didn't.
Yeah, 3-point stances versus,
Did you take a wide stance with Bill yesterday?
Fullback stance talk, that's my sweet spot.
Did you take a little wide stance with Bill, though? Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the best question you asked.
Did
so.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. Phil in North Carolina tells me I didn't mention what pillow it is. I think it's called Living Healthy Pillow. Living Healthy?
He's looking at you, Alex.
Because I've written about it so much in the newsletter.
Something like that. I think it's Living Healthy. And then I think the company might be Healthy Sleep or something like that.
Healthy Sleep, Cool Tech, something.
Something like
Alex
that.
is now an expert on side sleeping pillows.
Specifically Fred's.
You have your
Specifically-
spreadsheets for your draft guys. Alex has the spreadsheet for Fred's pillow.
It's like when a player gets hurt with an injury and then you act like you do all the research and now you're an expert on
Okay.
like Achilles tears.
The
for
Healthy
example.
Sleep, Cool Tech, High Profile Pillow.
That's it.
Specialized cooling pillow designed primarily for side sleepers and individuals with larger body types who require significant support and temperature regulation.
Yeah.
So.
I got to say, it's like I said, it's a very hard to describe pillow. You just have to test it for yourself. And
Je ne sais
when
quoi.
I took it out of the butt, like it comes compressed, and you take the plastic off and then it like, when I first took it out and I was feeling, I'm like, this isn't what I wanted. And I was ready to send it back. But then I started using it and it's like, oh, okay, this is okay. But just feeling it, I was like, this is too flimsy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of, I don't know, it gained air in it. I'm not.
Well, it's like the mattresses that come in the box.
Yeah, those.
At first, it's like, how did you get this thing so compressed?
But
and then they
But
fill
this
out.
isn't memory foam or latex. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mattresses usually aren't either.
One of my roommates
Yeah,
had one of those. It came in like a box. It
Same.
was like rolled up, unrolled it, and then like a day later, next morning we woke up and it was a mattress.
Ready to
It
rock.
was like, this is crazy.
But it took a day.
I would say probably like we.
So maybe that was the thing
overnight.
with this pillow. Is it? And I
Probably.
was looking for like instructions, like what to expect or anything, and there was nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing that would tell you. You have to wait, or like some of these things you have to put it in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was nothing like that, so I'm like, this isn't good.
I thought it was like, did you just buy like a mattress topper? Like this is an actual mattress, and the next thing you knew, maybe I don't know, probably the next morning, like probably overnight, and.
But how long do those kind of mattresses hold up?
I don't know. I have to ask him if he still has the
Mine
same
came
mattress.
out of a box. I've had it. Oh my god, probably like 7 years.
And still.
Yeah.
Well, you're a little thing.
Thank you.
Like if you've got some heft to you, and like these mattresses don't hold up anymore
That's
like
fair.
they used to.
You put some money into a mattress.
Can't speak to that.
They're
worth it.
expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah. So for that, you'll pay money.
Mattresses, couches, those are things like.
We have
Couches?
We
Yeah.
have a nice mattress.
Buy
we pay
nice
for.
or buy twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buy once, cry once.
She does. She has a
Yeah.
saying, a pithy saying for everything.
Bart in Poland, I'm
She's still
absolutely
glowing
with
about the
Evan.
small little
Yeah,
thing
I am.
comment.
Thanks.
I'm
called me
absolutely
skinny.
with Evan with picking premium positions in the first round, especially at the top. The best example is running back. Let's say that Jeremiah Love goes number 4 to Tennessee, which is a very common mock landing spot from him. He'll get $12 million a year, fully guaranteed. $12 million is basically what the best running backs in this year's free agency class got, and their contracts aren't fully guaranteed. Let's say you draft Reuben Bain at the same spot, and he becomes a very good edge, a very good but not elite edge. Just got $30 million a year in free agency. That's a huge difference. So by picking non-premium positions at the very top of the draft, you're not getting any reward of them being on a rookie contract, even if they work out. At 31, however, you're getting more flexibility as it's basically only a $4 million a year contract.
Yeah, that's what I said that yesterday on Catch 22, and of course you get the people that push back and they're like, "Oh, so if Barry Sanders was in the draft, you wouldn't draft him." And it's like, obviously, if Barry Sanders was in the draft, then I'd probably think about drafting him. Yeah, but like
in this draft, I probably would. It wouldn't be a no-brainer for me in every draft.
But just as a rule of thumb, I said that if I was a GM, I would stick to drafting the premium positions because of what Bart just laid out.
Running back used to be a premium position years ago.
Absolutely.
But like I was saying, like I would not draft guards. I would not draft running backs. I would not draft run stuffing defensive tackles. I would not draft those types of players because of the financial aspect that Bart laid out.
No, it's an interesting way of looking at it. Absolutely.
Brendan in Edmonton says, Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that shirt salmon, not pink? I don't know.
Lavender.
Lavender?
That's lavender.
Lavender.
I'm not good with colors.
Yeah. Lavender.
I think I'm like slightly colorblind.
Yeah, it's definitely not
Many
salmon.
men are.
Yeah.
Right?
Colorblind?
A little bit. Like if you
Pastel purple.
I can tell that this is blue and that's green and whatever, but like different shades.
You just went with the whatever.
I would say that's forest green, right?
I'd say forest is a little darker. That's almost a sage.
Sage green?
Almost
Yeah.
a sage.
Okay.
Yeah, like the different
A little
shades
darker than a
can't
sage,
do
but
it.
Like Fenway, those
green monster green.
Monster green.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a classic navy.
There you go.
Yeah, like like when things are like dark green.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Like a forest green.
Like that looks black to me. Like that's just flat out black.
So you're a little colorblind?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I found that men are really bad with color theory when we came out with the rivalry jerseys, and I had to create that swatch because everyone was like, "It's like Carolina blue. It's like the Titans colors." No, it's not.
Nope.
It's very different.
It's storm blue.
Storm blue. Get it right.
Tyler says draft talk is exhausting, so I have a few 80s theme would you rather questions.
Okay.
Me and Paul should do well here.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a Ghostbuster or a member of the A-team?
I don't know. I'm going Ghostbuster.
Probably Ghostbusters because I didn't watch the A-Team, so I don't really know exactly what
The
they
A-Team
did.
was a bunch of hardos.
That's someone, with...
I know what the
okay.
show is.
Okay.
I just didn't watch it.
Bunch of hardos.
So I don't really know exactly what they did.
They remade the
How
A-Team.
about like Magnum? I'd rather be Magnum.
Okay.
That's Tom
That's
Selleck,
not a-
right?
That's not a...
But it was a similar time.
Yeah. Go on an adventure with Marty McFly or attend Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Marty McFly.
I'm going Ferris Bueller.
But you could do all of that.
Not in the Ferrari.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair point.
Be a member
I'm not
of
a car
Talking
guy,
Heads or
obviously.
Guns N' Roses?
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
I don't know Talking Heads, so Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I'd say Guns N' Roses, although Talking Heads I'd like better, but Guns N' Roses seems to be more fun, if you know what I mean.
Slash nose.
Be trapped in the hotel with Jack from The Shining
Ooh.
or have to get back to Coney Island with the Warriors?
Oh, Coney Island with the Warriors.
Yeah.
That's our Warriors.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want to
Yeah.
be in the hotel with Jack.
I saw the hotel that they filmed some of that at. I think the maze scene or something in Kennebunkport, Maine. Beautiful.
Oh. Lots of horror movies in Maine.
See the 1980s Miracle on Ice hockey win over USSR live or be at Game 7 of the 1984 NBA Finals with Boston beating LA.
Miracle.
Really?
Game.
Yeah.
I'd rather be
It's
at the
the
basketball
greatest.
game.
I mean, there's an argument that that's the greatest sporting event of our lifetime.
Really?
The gold medal. Not the gold medal. The beating the Russians.
Certainly the biggest upset. I don't know. I didn't watch the game from start to finish ever, so I couldn't tell you if it was the most best
Do you want me
played
to, do you want me to
game.
ruin it for you?
We win.
They
Yes.
low-key got killed, and Jim Craig won the game.
Right. So, like, I don't know. Like, the 1984 finals, like, just think about the players that are on the court at the same time in a game like that. Like, that's like.
But that's the greatest sporting event of my lifetime. The
Miracle on Ice.
U.S. beating the Russians and winning the gold 2 days later.
That's the other thing. It wasn't even the gold medal game.
No. See, when
But
I
it was
watched
like the
when
Cold
I watched
War
the
was
game,
going on. It was the
the game had already happened. I knew the result.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
that's tough.
So how can
Jim,
why was it
Jim
that
McKay
great?
was like, all right, we're going to bring you the thing. He was like, geez, Jim, I wonder who won.
But so then how does it become the greatest in your lifetime?
It was the greatest sporting event of my lifetime. Absolutely.
And if you
But
see
it
it
was
live, it's
spoiled
not
for
getting
you.
ruined.
Huh?
If you see it live, it's not getting spoiled.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing that could spoil it for me. No, I mean, I was right in the wheelhouse too. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
We watched USA Canada on our way to the combine this year. We were all on a plane, and luckily the plane had TVs, and we watched it. And when Jack Hughes scored, the whole plane erupted. It was actually pretty cool. I'll remember where I was now because of that. Yeah, it was fun.
The cat jumped off my lap when I screamed when Jack Hughes scored. Really? I was all by myself. Beth was at work.
Yeah, I'd have to think long and hard about what was the greatest sporting event of my lifetime, and being impartial, because like obviously 2001 when the Patriots won the Super Bowl.
I don't know, that
that's a
Atlanta
personal
Super
one.
Bowl,
But like to look at it generally and say this was the
That's in my.
Yeah.
The Atlanta comeback, that is like
Well, yeah,
hands
well,
down.
why do you think he said the Game 7 for the Celtics and the Lakers?
Right. Okay. But I think
there's nothing that was really special about that game if you weren't a Boston fan.
But I think, like, from a world view, I think in terms of Patriots Super Bowls, that 28-3 comeback was a better sporting event than 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
2001 was
It
unbelievable.
was the first overtime in Super Bowl history.
That is true.
The biggest comeback.
The
in
drama.
Yeah.
That is true.
I would say, I don't know, the fact that the Patriots were such big underdogs in 2001.
That's why that one
was pretty high stakes.
And then again,
That's it for
looking
me.
at it impartially from a Boston standpoint, coming back from 0-3 against the Yankees, that had never been done. No team had ever come back from 0-3 before.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, I mean that's a
series.
right?
You
That's
have
not
to
a
look at the
single
whole
game,
series,
which
right.
makes it
Such a
harder.
good 30 for 30.
I mean, I don't know. Probably the Dave Roberts Steele game is the game that gets held up on
Right.
the pedestal for
Right.
people. I mean, they were down to with Mo Rivera on the mound down to their last strike,
Yeah.
and they maybe the greatest closer in the history of the game is pitching, and they somehow won the game.
And then, again, from a Boston standpoint, that's 75. You guys are too old. But when Carlton Fisk and Bernie Carbo, I mean, that was an unbelievable game.
Did they win?
My father
won.
was kept
They won Game
falling
6,
asleep
the
on
game
the
he's
couch. I
talking
kept
about.
having to
I know,
wake
but,
him up.
But what happened after that?
They lost Game 7.
Yeah, so no, not on the list.
No, I know.
But we're just talking about games.
I know, but the Red Sox people, we still are walking out the 1986 Red Sox for a pregame ceremony. It's like, guys, we've won 4 times since then. We can let's celebrate the teams that actually won the World Series instead of the teams that famously lost the World Series in choking fashion.
Meeting Felger.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's not even just that they lost, Paul. They lost in maybe the most embarrassing fashion that any team has ever lost.
Believe me, I know.
So
He's like, I lived it. I'm not over it yet.
But if you were looking at from a national journalist standpoint,
28-3.
I'd have to think long and hard. What was the greatest sporting event of the last 50 years?
I think 28-3 is
28-3.
honestly on the list.
Even if you don't have a dog in the fight, not to quote Brady,
not
who
for me.
wasn't really?
No, not even close.
Why? Too stressful? What was your problem with it?
No, the Seattle game was a way better game. The 28-24 game, much better game.
I would put both of them
the
1A
Rams
and
game
1B,
was better.
honestly.
And if we're talking about all games, not even in my top 10.
Wow. Okay. Just an event. You're looking at the way it was played.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
No, I'm talking about just
the comeback itself is without question.
No,
It's
I
the-
know.
It's the
Well,
biggest
that's what I
comeback
mean.
in Super Bowl history.
Right. The Patriots didn't necessarily play that well in the first half. So, how it was played, okay. But, just as an event, wow. What just happened here?
I like when I'm talking about the games, like I look at that Seattle Patriots Super Bowl, and that's why it's number one for me, is two really good teams.
Yeah.
That both played really, really well.
And it was
came down
and
to
the
the
great
final
Knocked
play.
the snot out of each other.
And that play at the end was
and,
unbelievable.
And the game ends the way
All
it ended.
fair
Like
plays.
the 28-3 game, Atlanta played really, really well for 3 quarters, and then decided they've never played football before. And you came back and won because you have this one unbelievable player who just refuses to lose games, and it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Right.
All the explanations that you guys say are all accurate, but it wasn't that well played a game.
Yeah.
In my mind.
No, fair enough.
But that's the beauty of sports to me, is it's so subjective.
But that's the thing.
What could be
There's
really
no doubt that
effective
To
for
me,
one.
I stop at it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
It absolutely was.
Yeah,
I mean,
to
the
me,
Seattle game was
I say that
better.
because of what I saw Atlanta do. That's
Right.
the amazing
Well,
part to me.
Okay.
You're the
Well,
worst.
somebody had to do
Not
like,
the, not the 20 plays that the Patriots made to turn the tide of the game. It's
no,
what
it's, I need
Atlanta
a field
did.
goal to end the game, so let me drop back to pass 3 plays in a row and get
listen,
sacked.
To do what the Patriots did, you need help.
Your guy. That's why you're so you're conflicted.
The Seattle game, though, the two teams were definitely better. Like,
Oh, yeah.
But
you
I mean,
know,
they played better. That's why I put that.
But
ahead
they
of
were
the
also
Rams.
just
the Rams
like-
didn't play all that well in the first game.
I think Seattle, the 2014 Super Bowl, to me, was the best two teams out of all 10 Super Bowls that I've watched the Patriots play in. Like that, those were the two best teams, in my opinion. Like the amount of just talent on the field in a game like that on both sides. You know, I mentioned this a while ago, but like when you go watch when they do the intros at the beginning of the game and they like go through the offense and defense, and you just see like just the amount of talent like that both teams had on both sides of the ball in that game. That game was, to Paul's point, like that was the best football game, like the actual play on the field.
Also, before that interception, like I came to terms with like, wow, that sucks. Patriots just lost. Like that was really fun, but
It
and
felt
then
like
the interception happened.
We had like this
what?
weird like hex on us because they obviously had lost twice to the
The two
Giants.
Giants ones.
We were in that decade, it just like felt like they weren't going to ever win another one.
Totally.
I mean, you want to be completely impartial? I got to put the 07 one on the list somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, if
that's as surprised after a loss as I've ever been.
undefeated team gets knocked off like that, again, looking at it impartially. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That's fair.
Definitely. So. All right.
You're funny. You just go. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I just stopped there.
Well, it is. I mean, that's hard stop, as they say. Yeah.
We've been lucky. A lot of the ones that have happened, I would say, in my lifetime, like post 2000, have involved Boston teams, especially the Patriots.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a couple of like NBA finals that I can think of. Like,
that Kirk Gibson home run, I saw that on TV. That was amazing.
That
was amazing.
That's in a
Too bad
in the
knees.
category.
I'm not old enough for that one.
He completely ripped up his hamstring. He was unavailable. It's the only play that he played. He had one at bat in the whole World Series, and he basically won the World Series.
Yeah, that was I can't believe what I'm seeing type of thing. Yeah.
Paul Pierce going out on the wheelchair and coming back to win.
That was
because he pooped his pants.
No, that doesn't count.
No,
that's not on the list.
So
just
cute.
me.
That's so cute.
Okay.
No,
we are blessed and highly favored.
Yeah, just that's just a me thing. All right.
Sean in Ottawa writes in, on Tuesday there was a debate about how the Patriots need to pick at 31 to be need that pick to be an immediate impact. Can someone explain why they need to be an immediate impact? They are a rebuilding team, not a Super Bowl or bust team. Shouldn't they care about picking a player who will have more of an impact over 5 years instead of prioritizing immediate impact? For example, using a situation that might apply to this year's draft, wouldn't a tackle to replace Moses be better value over 5 years than some of those edge players available at 31 that might be too small to be an every down rusher?
Okay, if he stinks, then yeah.
I was going to say, so the tackle's good and the edge rusher stinks.
Right.
So yes, give me the tackle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
would.
But what if both are equally good?
I want the edge rusher. I think he'll play this year.
I would just slightly push back on they are no longer a rebuilding team. Like they just won 14 games and played in the Super Bowl last year.
I don't think they're rebuilding either.
Like Drake May is going into year 3 and was an MVP candidate last year. Like They should be thinking like we are in a team that can compete. And I understand that we all feel like they weren't truly a Super Bowl team last year, but still they are a team that
They need to retool.
And I don't think that when we were talking about it on Tuesday, like the wording, it's, sometimes you should, you got to choose your words carefully. If we said like it needs to be an immediate impact player, I don't think that probably is right. I think with Evan and I, because this is, I think you and I are lockstep on this, we feel like they need to look for a player who can compete and contribute right away. I don't want to take a tackle for a redshirt year for when Morgan Moses is gone next year.
Yep.
But if the tackle is a better player than the guy I pick, I'll take the tackle, even if he doesn't play this year.
Well, especially if the other guy stinks.
That's
like
what I'm saying. If the guy's better, if he's a better player, then I don't want a guy who's not good, just because he can play.
Right.
Like that's, again, you're back to the need, best player available thing.
Yeah.
Ryan writes in, really, this is to Evan.
Okay.
Who's your favorite yak monster in this class? Is there any chance they could land with the Patriots? I feel like May could benefit from someone else on offense to create yards.
My favorite yak monster, Casey Concepcion, for sure. I think in the first round is probably the best.
So Brugler says that he double clutches and has too many drops.
He does. He did have a very high drop rate last year. I think that there's a school of thought. Some people think along my lines that, when you operate in those high traffic areas over the middle of the field, maybe hearing some footsteps every once in a while, maybe getting a little bit, what we would call focus drops, Fred. Not like the drops like you have bad hands, right? Like, there's a difference between you have bad hands and then like you're coming over the middle of the field, the safety's coming down, and you might alligator arm one over the middle. So is that going on with him a little bit? Yeah, I mean, his drop rate last year was over 10%. It was an alarming number that you circle. On day 2 of this draft, I would say Skylar Bell from UConn is probably the best guy after the catch. But Casey Concepcion, in terms of the first round guys, I mean, not only does he have speed and in the open field, but also elusiveness with the ball in his hands. Omar Cooper Jr. is really good after the catch too. I think those two guys are probably the two best. Cooper Jr. some people think is like elite as a ball carrier.
Okay.
So those are your yak monsters.
What did you once call alligator arms?
Lobster arms.
Lobster. Well, I think there's a difference, right? Like of having like
one has claws.
One guy doesn't catch the ball well, and the other guy maybe could be a little bit more, I don't know, tougher. Like over the middle of the field.
Yep.
I think there's a difference there because Casey's, contested catch numbers are actually pretty good. He just has some drops that are weird.
Yeah, because I'd love to get that high volume slot guy.
Those two guys in the first round, Cooper Jr. and Concepcion.
Paul's just shaking his head
because I just don't think it's a fit with the quarterback. I don't think he wants to do that.
Well,
I don't think he wants to throw 85 5-yard crossing routes to Julian Edelman. I don't think he wants to do that.
That really hurt the Patriots doing that.
Brady did want to do it. You're making it out to be like it's an indictment on the offense or the approach. For Tom Brady, that was perfect.
Right.
Because
the greatest quarterback of all time.
Because he threw 650 passes a year exactly where he wanted them to go.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that.
Yeah. Drake needs to get more accurate.
Yes. Yeah. And before everybody comes at me with the completion percentage, I'm talking about accuracy, not completions.
Yep. Right.
Not the same thing. And I just think it's a mindset for him. It's a mentality. I don't think
he's
he
a
likes
gunslinger.
Yes, I don't think he likes to
matriculate the ball down the field.
He doesn't really want to do that. Now you can make an argument. You better get in the mood, as George Costanza once said.
Right.
You better learn how to do that because you're not going to be able to survive just throwing the ball downfield all the time the way you did this year.
Right.
That's a good argument, but I just don't think that that's something that really fits with his skill set. He doesn't want to do it.
It took a little while for like a guy like Josh Allen
what
to get
skill
to that
do you
point,
think
though.
you need to do that other than mindset?
Short level accuracy.
Yeah.
But what he's talking
reads,
about, like
ball
processing. Placement, not.
I don't think that's his strength.
You can't throw if you're going to throw those little ones over the middle. You're going to get
be here, not here,
because you're going to get the guy killed.
Yeah. Well, he's got to get better at that.
I don't know. I think if you throw the ball as well as he does down the field.
Yeah. Again, that's a hard way to live sometimes.
It is, and I would be curious to see how it unfolds this year. They completed an astronomical percentage of downfield throws last year that I would say that most people watching the league would say that's hard to duplicate.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the defense that creates, 47 turnovers one year. Probably not wise to rely on that the
I mean,
next
just
year.
looking at some of the ones Kayshon Boutte made alone, like even in the playoffs against Houston, where he catches a
one-hander.
one-handed touchdown pass against Derek Stingley, like you're not
Right.
gonna.
Like nothing has to change on that play for it to be incomplete the next time. You know, like it was
100%.
good protection, good throw, good route, got open, but you don't make that difficult catch in the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand what your point is. I don't think a lot of people play that way. I think Tom Brady was able to play that way because he was a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's a hard way to sort of say, like, we're going to go 12 plays and score every time. I think that's a hard way to do it.
Well, I don't know, but if that's what they're giving you, take it. And have somebody who can take advantage of that in your receiving core.
I just wonder, like, I think there are a lot of quarterbacks in today's league, especially that play more towards Drake May's style, and all of them are really successful doing it. So, I mean, I think you can make the argument that Josh Allen has probably figured out the balance of when to throw it down the field versus when to take the stuff underneath. I'm sure having a guy like, Shakir has helped in that respect. But in general, like, I think that's something that the turnovers, well, not all the time, but him being able to control turnovers a little bit better compared to early on in his career came from him probably taking less chances with the ball down the field.
I would even say, Kansas City, their offense is trending in the wrong direction, coinciding with Mahomes throwing more and more balls around and near and behind the line of scrimmage. Because I don't think it's what he does exceptionally well. I think his, as Evan likes to say, his superpower is slinging it all over the place at odd angles down the field and making big plays. And
yeah,
he doesn't want to throw those little short things. Kelsey's not the same guy.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of other issues in Kansas City. That's simplistic, but just saying.
Rick in Rhode Island, why are teams limited in the number of players they can have a visit with? Teams are making million-dollar investments with these players. Shouldn't they be able to interview as many as they want? With video conferencing, teams can easily meet with any player interested in meeting. That's different, right?
Yeah, you can have as many of those.
You can have as many of those. These are in-person visits where they come to your facility.
Yeah.
You can only have 30 of those.
You can also go to their facility unlimited amount
And
of
that's
times.
unlimited, right.
So, like Mike Vrabel going down to LSU last year to meet with Will Campbell.
Right.
That's all allowed.
And Arizona
So why
State
is it
this year.
limited?
Yeah, he says
Because
this,
they don't want to make the players have to travel all over the country the whole pre-draft process.
is this rule in place for teams that don't want to spend resources, so they want to limit teams that don't spend resources?
No, I think it has to do with the player side. I think it would be a
It's
lot.
still a resource too to fly the kid out. It's not like the kid's coming on his own dime for a visit.
Oh, no, you would have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask.
But
the travel.
So there was, and I forget the player now, but there was a guy who had 230 visits earlier this week because yesterday was the last day, right? The
Wednesday
30
was, yeah.
Yeah. So a guy had to go, let's just say from Denver, and he was trying to get to Cincinnati. He got stuck in Chicago. The Bengals actually sent an Uber for him to Chicago because there was weather in the middle. They're trying to eliminate, that's just an example of the travel logistics these kids have to go through. And they're not paying for it. The teams are paying for it, but
They're also not flying private.
it's
like,
a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to have unlimited players having for 32 teams.
A kid visiting all 32.
Going everywhere.
But
Yeah,
still,
choose
like if
them
you're a top
wisely.
prospect, then you might be
Travel a lot.
doing half a dozen at least trips.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think it depends. Like most of the time, they bring these kids in because they have questions about them, whether it's medical, off the field.
Louis Riddick this week.
Yeah, what about
I've said this a million times. When you see the same player,
not a good sign
with a lot of different visits, it's
Red
usually
flag?
it's usually because teams have questions about that guy.
Yeah, it's usually a red flag. It's whether it's medical, character. Elliot Wolf pointed out like learning, like
Yeah.
being able to learn the playbook and all that kind of stuff. every once in a while, he said that they will bring somebody in because they want Mike Vrabel to meet him because they really like the kid. They're really high on him as a prospect, and so they want to get him in front of Vrabel. But for the most part, it's about crossing people off instead of adding.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
All right. 855-PATS-500. Christian's in Boston. What's up, Christian?
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
Good. Chris with a T-I-A-N.
Yep. So I'll be quick. Vrabel, the former coach, not what we're looking for. So very unfortunate, but he wants to blow up his life. That's his thing. I can't wait for this draft to be over because everybody says it sucks. And I know that Evan said it. We're not saying it sucks, but everybody is so looking forward to the 27 draft. I felt like this draft is just an afterthought, really. I feel like I read more about the 27 draft. Not you guys. You guys are talking about the draft and everything, but everybody's just so hyped on the 27 draft. I wanted to get your thoughts on, Forge and Foxborough, great, the final episode. Just a reminder how special the season was and how almost every button that Vrabel pushed and every acquisition that they got hit. The likelihood of that happening again with the free agents and the draft picks is probably low, coupled with a tougher schedule. You may be a better team, and you may be better on offense in the crunch moments and up against better talent. But I just definitely don't expect that ho-hum somewhere 12 to 14 wins. Obviously, don't know what the schedule looks like. It's obviously going to be tougher. We don't know what the layout of it is. But wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you see the step back this year, from that standpoint? Just looking, like I said, everybody they acquired, every speech I felt like that Vrabel gave, everything just worked.
It was amazing.
And the schedule helped them too, and it was great. And that's what made Forge and Foxborough, just like I said, just a reminder how great and how special it was, and what a very likable team it was. It was such a likable team, a bunch of guys, that you could get behind.
Yep.
So that's all I got. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I mean, he's right. It could be a better team this year with a not as good record.
The chemistry thing I have thought about more than I normally think about that kind of stuff. That
just because it was so
rare. And
it was so strong last year.
Unbelievable. I mean, the best locker room I've ever been in.
Hands down.
And so how is it even realistic to come close to recreating something like that?
Right.
To the point where Vrabel had so many, the caller said, so many motivational things, whether it was Warriors or whatever, even some of the little taglines that he would use as rallying cries when they would go on the road and stuff like that. Join the Mile High Club was one that obviously stood out to me. How many of those has he got?
But it's not like he was coming up with these things before the season. Most of them happened organically.
Exactly.
And I think every group of guys, every group of players, more organic things will present themselves that you can use as motivation. I mean, look at Joe Mazzulla, how many years has he been at it? And he's a psycho in the best way ever. He's got no lack of material for those guys.
I feel like he and Mike Vrabel are weirdly kindred spirits.
They are. And Vrabel, I think I heard recently him talking about Mazzulla and how much he learns from Mazzulla. And I mean,
it's weird because they're not
my favorite type of person.
They're not alike.
I got good stuff for you off air. I don't want to get. I don't want to get the green teamers mad at me.
They're not alike, right? They're not.
No.
They're Joe Mazzulla and Mike Vrabel to me are not anything. Vrabel's personality is way more inviting and fun and
Mazzulla
bubbly.
Is stoic, Providence guy.
He's an a-hole. He's an a-hole.
No, I will say
in
his defense, just to go that way, it's been amazing to me how hard he had that team play all year. In a league where, and this is where the green teamers will get mad at me, 3/4 of the teams are openly trying to lose. His team played really hard all year.
Strong.
And if they're not trying to tank, they're resting their superstars at any given moment.
Yeah.
But
when they rested their superstars periodically too. And this is where I give Mazzulla credit. He gets the other guys to play exceptionally
that
hard.
last game of the
bench,
season.
exactly.
That was
the
an
other
amazing.
Day.
I mean, That was one of the most enjoyable games I've seen all year.
And that was one of the rare occasions where the opponent was actually trying to win the game.
That
They were
meant
trying to
something
get out
to
of the
them.
play-in.
Yeah.
Orlando.
No, I think they were trying to get out of the play-in.
I think their coach is going to be fired in 2
No, well,
days.
he is going
I
to.
mean,
Yeah,
the
but-
expectations they had coming into this season. Orlando's been a great team on the rise the last couple seasons, and
Not so much.
Can't stay
really
healthy.
surprised
They can't
this
stay
year.
healthy. And
But,
Banchero was not good this year.
The Celtics like ability to like plug in like the Baylor Shiremans and the Luka Garzas and like
Quetta.
those types of guys, I feel like is very Patriot like. Where like all of a sudden, Robert Spillane gets hurt and Jack Gibbons has to play a lot more, and they still keep winning. Guys, it may not be the stars and the top of the roster players, but the Celtics lost like 5 or 6 guys from their rotation from the year before. That was a much better team on paper, and these other guys, they just filled them right in, and it's a system, it's a culture, it's very much like what Vrabel tries to do here.
David in Bethlehem. Fred's pillow quest reminded me of my Nana. She raised Muscovy ducks, or Muscovy, I think, Muscovy ducks. Neighbor's husband killed them for her, all in the wrist, no blood. She'd chop the necks, hang them upside down to catch the blood for sausage. Then she'd pluck the breast and belly feathers, soak overnight in cheesecloth bags to remove smell and bugs. Next windy day, she'd tie them to the clothesline and fluff them every hour or so. Good work for the kids who like candy. After a week or two of drying, she'd close off a spare room with window screen and scatter feathers to make sure they were dry. I once opened the door and the feathers flew. Ouch. Used that pillow until I went to college. So,
wow.
Homemade.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for a
Seems-
pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet you it was a good pillow though.
Yeah.
But
If
that
it
much
lasted that long.
You ever sleep with a down comforter?
Every night.
Yeah. Every night.
Not
Every
not
night.
this time of year. Too hot.
What?
In the winter.
Oh, but I like
They're
in
light
the,
and airy and
in the
fluffy.
summer, you put the AC up high
Yeah,
and then you
crank it.
still get under the covers. It's
Yes.
great. It's great. You should try it.
Okay.
You don't use a
little lemon twist.
a comforter in the
Quilt.
summer?
Nice quilt.
Isn't a quilt kind of warmer? I feel like a down comforter allows
I
the
agree.
air to.
I don't know. Maybe I'm sleeping wrong. Who knows?
I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Ben in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I'm sure another listener will write in today complaining about the Patriots' history of drafting wide receivers,
Might as well.
and the panel will promptly respond that most weren't drafted by the current regime. Instead of repeating the same conversation, can we discuss the track record of wide receivers who were actually drafted by the current Patriots draft leadership group, which is Wolf, Cowden, Highsmith, Kinkella, Evans, and Vrabel? These wide receivers were selected by teams in the first 3 rounds, while at least one of the above-listed personnel executives served in a national scouting or personnel leadership role. Well, I don't know how fair that is. But here's the list anyway. Kyle Williams, Jalen Polk, Tyquan Thornton, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, Traylon Burks, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Taywan Taylor, Stefan Funches, Kelvin Benjamin, Brandon LaFell, Armonte Edwards, Devontae Adams, and Dwayne Eskridge. So of those,
Pretty good. I would say that's a pretty good hit
pretty
rate.
good list. You like that list?
I mean, like, let's face it, the draft's a crapshoot. So, like, the fact that if you hit on like 40% of the names on a list like that, then I think
Yeah.
you're doing pretty good.
I'm dismissing the vast majority of those names because I don't necessarily think.
You're not going to give Elliot Wolf credit for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and I'm not giving Ryan Cowden credit for Malik Neighbors.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that
I'm
might
with
not
you.
sound fair, but
No, I
you know,
mean-
if you're not the decision maker, I can't give you the credit for the decision.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair just to I don't know the backgrounds of what Ryan Cowden and Alonzo Highsmith and all those guys were involved in. You know, I think for Elliot Wolf, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Polk, Kyle Williams are fair.
I think
to put in his
the current regime, it's fair to count all 3 of those.
Yeah.
I'm with Evan on that.
Maybe Vrabel, A.J. Brown, Traylon Burks, I think is probably
That's fair because
fair.
Vrabel was heavily involved in the
I guess
decisions.
Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess would have been Carolina that
Yeah.
Ryan Cowden was with
Yeah.
10 years ago as a director of college scouting or something like
And
that.
I don't necessarily put those on him.
Yeah.
Neither one of those guys was a hit. I mean, they both had
Yeah, they had their moments.
They both had moments, but neither
Yeah.
one of them was what I would call a hit.
No.
we get this question a lot. I
Jalen,
think
hi,
we've
your
answered it
favorite.
before.
Yeah.
Kyle and Pembroke, which Patriots Hall of Famer who is in the Hall of Fame now can't be Brady? Would you add to this team in their prime to improve the current Patriots? We've talked about
we did
that.
that for the
before.
newsletter last week.
This is the newsletter.
Fred wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, you blew us off.
I think Tippett was, if you're looking for an edge rusher.
He was our defensive. I think we all picked
Everyone
Tippett.
said Tip, yeah.
Yeah, edge rusher.
Plus, he kind of scares me. So.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're nice to him.
He's right upstairs, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
The offense was tough. I thought there were a lot of different options on offense.
Well, yeah, it's hard. But
Stanley Morgan was what I picked. Like, have a great outside deep threat with Drake May.
I picked Ben Coates.
Ben Coates would have been a really good pick.
I said Scar. I tried to be a little
Yeah, it was a
unconventional.
good. I thought about it honestly, but I like Dougie Fresh, so I didn't want to be disrespectful.
Me too. That's what I said. No
Dougie
disrespect
Fresh.
at all, but like,
Yeah.
if you can
No,
have the
that's fair.
goat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Logan in Myrtle Beach. Sorry about the subject. The subject is urgent. Fred, your name appeared in the Epstein files. So he just wanted me to read this.
That's how you got in.
He wanted me to read it. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you all checked out Jackson Kawach, linebacker from Miami, Ohio?
I'm gonna assume that's a made up name.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's trying to get me on being like, oh yeah, I've heard of that guy.
I just look at Evan.
So
I just look at Evan. I ought to, that's a
'Cause
name I've never heard.
I looked
I've
at
never
Evan's
looked at
face
Evan.
and he was like,
They did that to Gronk. They made up a fake tight end
Oh,
that
yeah,
had been out
on
on
air.
injury
I
on
mean,
air,
Barth
and
Barth
Gronk
would've
just
known
was
him.
faking
Is
it
he
until he made it.
linebacker?
I want to say I'm
Miami, Ohio.
I'm probably 20 to
Kawach.
25 deep on linebackers in this draft, and that name's not
Haven't
on the
heard of-
list. So I'm gonna say fake.
Well, he is
It's a
Miami,
fake
Ohio,
guy.
so he could be pretty low.
Fake.
Jackson Kawach, 23rd ranked linebacker.
Wow.
Okay, so
Oh,
just if you're
Evan.
20 deep, you just
Seventh-
got to get 3 more guys.
7th round projection. You can be forgiven for not knowing a 7th round
Fake.
projection.
Yeah, no, not a real
He's
person.
not fake. He's real.
No, I would have to see evidence that he's real. Send me the tape.
You're like that girl on the plane that went crazy.
I'm not
That guy is not real.
I'm not gonna get duped by one of those though, because I've seen that happen before. So I err on the side of I don't know.
No,
who
if you
that
don't know,
is.
just say you don't
When
know.
I
That's
truly-
always the
It's a
same.
lost
Never
art.
heard the name?
It's a lost
Right.
art to just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I said
agree.
what I said, because I was like, I'm not gonna get
Get got.
get got by one of these. Plus the name sounded a little
There
funny.
are
so
times,
I
I'm
was
not
like,
going to lie, that there's so many names that I do not know them the way Mike and Evan do. So I'll hear a name and I'll be like, okay, I've heard
You
that
get the name
but I
recognition.
don't remember who it is.
Yeah.
As opposed to hearing a name like that I've never heard before,
Yeah.
I immediately just look at Evan like, who that? Like, I have no idea who that is.
like I said, I think I've watched 25 off-ball linebackers, and that guy's name isn't.
Well,
on
he
the
was
list.
23rd
If we
on
didn't
the
go to the
list.
Super Bowl,
so-
you would know about him.
You're
You wouldn't have
probably
the time.
right. You're probably right.
Sam's in
Mike
Connecticut.
is doing research on him right now. That's why
Yeah.
he's so nervous about the last week before the draft.
What's up, Sam? Sam.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I just had one quick thing I wanted to ask you guys about. AJ Brown has been, the main trade talk for the Patriots. I thought it'd be fun to kind of think of some names of really good receivers who are on teams that maybe don't have a great quarterback, or who aren't competitive, who may trade, one of those other guys that's not really talked about as much.
Teams that.
I mean, like a Garrett Wilson,
Oh. That's one.
Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, earlier this offseason, I'm not sure if it's as much recent, but Chris Olave's name's been floated around a lot.
Yeah, it certainly seems like they want to make him part of their future.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a a great list of that other than AJ Brown. I thought about it, but it's not
I
an
think
extensive.
AJ Brown and Brandon Ayuk are two guys that are
Yeah, well, who
thought to
knows
be
what's going on with
available.
Brandon Ayuk.
I want nothing to do with Ayuk.
He's
Like
off
nothing.
the reservation.
I need to know more about his health before I would.
I need to know more about it. Yeah, I need to know
No,
more
I
about
need
his
to know
mental
about his
health.
knee. I can get by the. the thing.
No.
I mean,
Not if he's.
I've heard too much from the Niners.
I'm embracing. I'm embracing
Too
AJ Brown.
much.
He was reading a book in the middle of a game, so I can get past
Okay,
that
but
stuff.
no, that's
If
totally
if the
different.
medicals checks out, I can get him in my program if I'm Mike Vrabel, and I'm happy with it.
I'm genuinely worried about Brandon Ayuk
Having, like, a
I'm not even,
bipolar lapse.
Yeah, I'm not even saying this as it to be
I'm fine
funny.
with it.
Like
I would take him.
I mean,
if he's healthy, but I don't
he's
think,
like
I don't think he's
he's
healthy.
like Instagram living himself like going 110 down the highway.
No,
behind-
no.
Like just,
Absolutely
you
not.
worry. I just worry about that guy.
Yeah, this too. I wouldn't either.
Do you hear what the 49ers players were saying about him? How he just like.
There's too much we know.
Yeah.
Yes.
He needs help. Like genuinely. Like.
Yeah. Tim in California. Here's a would you rather: draft tight end Max Clare from Ohio State or Sam Roush from Stanford.
I don't know much about Roush, but
It's a toss up for me. That one's I think the one of the harder ones because Claire is definitely a better receiving tight end, but he's not the blocker that Roush is. Roush is a good inline blocker with some receiving upside. So it kind of just depends on like which way you want to go. I would say Claire is probably a better player.
I like him
Right now.
I don't love him, but I do like him. That was one of the guys Mike assigned to me.
He can block a little bit better than I think he gets credit for, but he's not a blocker. Like that's not going to be where he makes his money. But I probably lean to. I feel like week to go. We haven't talked enough about Max Clare, in my opinion. Like we've talked a lot about Oscar Delp. We've talked a lot about Sam Roush. We've talked a lot about some of the day 3 guys. Max Clare is the one guy I feel like we haven't talked a ton about. Some of that's because he's projected to go in between picks for the Patriots. He's like the 70th best player in the draft, so he's like kind of in the middle there. But he's a really good pass catching tight end, good receiver, went to Ohio State at least for a year. I think there is like a reason to believe that they would be in on him.
Yeah.
As much as they're in on Delp and Roush.
Yeah, I think Brugler has him as 66.
Yeah.
And his top one.
So you'd have to take him at 63, which I think, if you wanted, it's a little early maybe to take a tight end.
Would you rather draft a quarterback or a punter? Why is that even this year?
Quarterback,
yeah. Or possibly sign one undrafted free agent from the United Football League. That's okay, forget that. Would you rather trade Tommy Curran to the Jets or Phil Perry to the Miami Dolphins? Depends on what I'm getting back. Right? Doesn't it all depend on what I'm getting back?
100%.
Am I getting Armand Seguro back or
Armando?
I think he's out kicked. Yeah.
Oh.
Armand.
I like that question though. That has legs for the newsletter.
What's more likely? Logan Mankins gets into the Patriots Hall of Fame or Paul gets a new quality pre-owned Toyota?
Logan Mankins.
I'm waiting for listeners to just start a GoFundMe for Paul.
Of that happening.
All right, couple quick calls to end the show. Boston Cream, what's up?
Hey, I have a couple of questions about getting tickets to next year's games. Is it typically when the season schedule releases? Is that the best time to buy tickets, or do I have time to wait?
You're talking specifically for the Patriots?
Yep.
I mean, now with the secondary market and how easy it is to buy, I don't think you have to rush.
You can buy tickets at any time.
I don't think.
I think there is a date that they make tickets available.
The best
but I don't
time
know.
to buy tickets is
But
5
the
minutes
secondary,
before the
you can
game
buy
starts.
tickets anywhere.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to get soaked.
Well, I'm saying you don't necessarily get soaked anniore.
In the secondary market?
Yeah, for certain games you do, but not.
Did you hear about a lawsuit that just went through yesterday?
Show up to the
Ticketmaster?
stadium, and in the last hour before the game starts, they will drop dramatically. My friends do this for concerts all the time here.
That's a bit tough. I'm an international listener, so that's a bit tough. But second thing, is it worth it to stay in Foxborough or near the stadium there, or is there easy ways to like train in or?
Yeah, if you stay in Boston, there's a train that gets here 2 hours before or an hour before the game.
Depends on if you want to tailgate or not.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do before the game?
If you don't have a car, then you could do it either way. You could take the train like Fred just explained, or you could go and hang out in Patriot Place or something like that.
It also depends on how long you're here. I think if you're here for a couple days, you might not want to stay in Foxborough, especially without a car, because what are you going to do and how are you going to get around? Whereas the city, public transportation, and it's such a walkable city in Boston too.
And then you take the train in.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you go
usually
home.
my rec.
Vibe with
When
other
you're done.
Pats fans
All right.
on the tee.
Thanks, Cream.
Thanks,
Eldred's in North Carolina.
I
What's
didn't
up,
realize
Eldred?
Boston Cream was international.
Hey, Alex. Hey, fellas.
Hey, Eldred.
Fred. Hey, leave Car Shield alone. We got into it, and like I told him,
You'd rather pay them lying-ass actresses and actors instead of fixing cars. I had them for about 8 months, didn't fix not one thing.
So you put in a claim and they said they wouldn't fix it?
Exactly. I put in 4 for my Firebird and my Camaro, and they wouldn't fix it.
What were the reasons?
Firebird and a Camaro.
Why did they say they wouldn't? Did they give reasons?
Yeah, it's not covered under engine. I said, but it says engine. I got the whole warranty for the engine, the train, the powertrain,
Right.
transmission, and all of that. But that's not part of why it ain't part of the engine. And I said, I tell you what, just let it go at that. And then when I was in Gaffney, South Carolina, at a Chevrolet place, trying to get that one fixed, one of the guys said, man, we got a car here, been sitting here for 4 months, and they ain't fixed the engine yet on it. And they're just coming out looking at it. To me, they're a bunch of liars. And
It sounds. There's so many of them. It sounds scammy, but I didn't know. Maybe for some people, like it worked. I don't know. Yeah.
Car Shield, I'm most definitely against them. The rest of them, I ain't tried it since Car Shield. I paid it for 8 months. Ended up paying every time I took my car to a dealer or mechanic shop. I ended up paying them like I told them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay you and the mechanics too. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
You're better off just putting that money every month into a savings account.
Right.
And then you have it
Exactly.
when you need it.
Right. Yep.
For a rainy day.
All right, but Car Shield, downhill with me.
Okay.
No way in the world.
All right.
For a savings account.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
Love it.
Thanks for
Really,
the
why didn't I think of
review.
that?
That's cute.
And I would trust Eldred because
Me
he
too.
spends his life driving. You know.
Firebird and a
And he's
Camaro. Clearly a
Firebird,
car guy.
Camaros. Yep.
Nice cars.
Firebird, Camaro.
I wanted a
lore.
Camaro because of the Transformers. One.
It's 1982, and Eldred is 17 years old.
Love it.
I really just
got
wanted.
a big eagle on the hood.
When Jared
Nico
Duran
has
first
one.
started, that was the car I assumed that he was driving was the Camaro.
What?
Jared Duran.
Oh.
Doesn't he look like a guy that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's got Rush playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he has a truck.
He's got the T-shirt with the cigarettes rolled up.
Yeah.
I really,
Hardo.
I just really wanted a Camaro from Transformers 1, Shia LaBeouf, and he has the Camaro.
Me too.
As I always wanted one, and then I test drove one actually, really small, like windshield, like seeing out the front
Lot of blind
it.
spots.
Yeah, a lot of blind spots. I actually didn't like it. Good story.
All right, so you took a Volkswagen instead.
Family car.
All right.
I'm a family man, Fred.
That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Next week's a big week. I'll be having my back of the envelope on Tuesday. We'll talk about that.
I'm very excited for that. It's
Me
my
too.
favorite part of the
Okay.
draft. Yeah.
I'm
no
doing my
pressure.
research.
You started it
No
already or
pressure.
no?
What?
You've started
I haven't
the
even. No, I haven't started it yet. I've a lot going on.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we will see you Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.